My beloved child, stop, do not scroll, do not look away from this screen. Do you realize what just happened the exact second your eyes found these words? This is not an accident. This is not a random video lost in the noise of your feed. This is not the algorithm playing tricks with your attention. Heaven aligned time itself to bring you to this exact moment. I guided your hand. I guided your spirit. I placed this message directly into your path because today is not an ordinary day for you. Today is the day I have circled in red ink on the calendar of your life, even though the world around you looks no different than it did yesterday. And what I am about to show you, I have not allowed everyone to see. Only those I am calling forward as witnesses. Only those whose names I have already written in the book of this hour. Only those whose spirits have been ripening for this exact alignment for years without their conscious knowledge. You are one of them, my beloved. That is why your scroll stopped here. That is why your thumb paused. That is why something inside you, something quiet and old, said, wait, this one is different. I know you have been wondering if you matter. I know you have been wondering if anyone above is still listening. I see the quiet doubts you carry when no one is watching. I see the way you have started to wonder if your prayers have been disappearing into a ceiling that does not answer. And I am answering you right now, my child. With this message, with this divine interruption of your day, with the way these words are landing in your chest as you read them. So stay with me. Breathe. Because what is hidden inside these next minutes will redefine everything you thought was lost. And I know how tired you are. I know it before I say another word. I know it in the way your shoulders are sitting right now. I know it in the way your breath has been shallow for weeks. I know it in the soft ache behind your eyes that has been your constant companion for longer than you can remember. You did not come here today as a fresh soul. You came here exhausted. You came here a little numb. You came here half hoping and half guarded, because hoping has hurt before, and you have learned to flinch. I see all of that, and I love you in all of that. And nothing I am about to say to you depends on you being polished or rested or ready. You can be exactly as broken as you are right now, and the miracle can still land. There is one specific miracle prepared for today only. A miracle wrapped in silence. A miracle that does not announce itself with thunder. A miracle that enters quietly, like a guest at a small door at the back of a house, into the lives of those who choose to witness it correctly. Most people will never know it passed through. Most people will be too busy, too distracted, too cynical to notice the divine intersection happening on the edge of their ordinary afternoon. But you, my child, you stopped, you looked, you stayed. And because you stayed, the miracle has a place to land. If you scroll past, if you let distraction pull you away from my voice in this hour, you forfeit what has been waiting for you for years. I do not say this to frighten you, my beloved. I say this because I love you fiercely. Because I see how close you are to the breakthrough you have begged for in the dark. Because I have watched too many of my chosen witnesses lose hold of their own moment, simply because the moment did not look the way they expected it to look. The enemy knows this hour matters. He has been working overtime to keep your attention scattered, your mind tired, your spirit too numb to notice the alignment of this exact second. He has been whispering small distractions into your day for weeks. Little urgencies, little crises. Little noises, all designed to keep your eyes anywhere but here. But I have outmaneuvered him. I have placed my voice right here, on this small, glowing screen, in front of your weary eyes, at the precise second you needed me most. So lift your chin, my beloved. Lift your spirit. The witnessing has already begun. But there is something else I must tell you, and you must listen with the deepest part of your heart. What I am about to release into your life today, you cannot tell anyone right away. Not yet. Not until it has fully taken root inside you. Not until the soil of your spirit is closed firmly around the seed I am about to plant. Not until what I give you in secret has had the chance to become something the world cannot talk you out of. The enemy uses the mouths of others to dilute the seed before it can grow. He uses laughter. He uses dismissal. He uses the raised eyebrow of someone who does not believe. He uses skepticism wrapped in love. He uses the careful concern of people who would rather see you small than see you rising into the destiny I have written for you. He uses the well-meaning friend who tilts her head and says, "Are you sure you are not just emotional right now?" He uses the family member who has known you your whole life and cannot quite imagine you outside the role you have always played. These voices are not all evil. Most of them are not even aware they are being used. They love you in the only way they know how to love, which is to keep you safe inside the version of yourself they have already accepted. But love that keeps you small is not the love I have for you. And the seed I am planting in you today cannot survive being mocked by people who do not know it is sacred. So hold this between us. Hold it in the quiet chamber of your heart. Treasure it the way Mary treasured the words spoken over her son. Guard it the way a soldier guards the secret orders of a king. This is sacred, my beloved. This is between you and me. And the silence I am asking from you is not a punishment. It is a protection. It is a holy quarantine for something fragile and powerful at the same time. There is a hidden cost to speaking too soon. There is a hidden power in holding the promise close until it manifests. The ones who learn this rise faster. The ones who refuse it stay stuck in cycles of explaining themselves to people who will never understand. The ones who treasure what I whisper into their spirit will see it bear fruit. The ones who broadcast it before it has roots will watch the fruit wither before they ever taste it. So we will keep this between us. Yes? Just a small nod inside your spirit, just a small inner agreement. Yes, my child, I receive the silence. I will guard what you give me. Good. Good. We can move forward now. There is a reason I asked you to keep this private, and I will reveal the deepest layer of that reason before this message ends. For now, simply trust me. Trust the asking. Trust the keeping. Trust that what you receive in the quiet of this hour does not need an audience to be real. It only needs a witness, and you are that witness. Now let me speak to something you have been carrying. Something you have not been able to name out loud. Something that sits just beneath the surface of your daily routine, beneath your smiles, beneath your reasonable answers when people ask how you are doing. Because before I can pour fresh oil into you, I have to acknowledge the cracks. I have to see the wear. I have to honor what you have been holding before I take it off your hands. I know you are tired. Not tired the way the world means it, not the kind of tired that a weekend of sleep can fix, not the kind of tired that a vacation can erase, not the kind of tired that a good meal and an early bedtime can solve. You are tired in your bones. You are tired in your thoughts. You are tired in the parts of you that no one ever sees. You are tired of pretending that you are fine when something inside you has been quietly breaking for years. You are tired in a way that goes underneath your skin, underneath your muscles, underneath your nervous system, into the place where your spirit lives. That kind of tired is not a sleep problem. That kind of tired is a soul condition, and the soul has its own language. The soul does not need rest the way the body needs rest. The soul needs witnessing. The soul needs to be seen by someone who can carry the weight of what it has been through, and tonight, that someone is me. I see you when you wake up and the heaviness is already sitting on your chest before your feet even touch the floor. I see the way you reach for your phone first thing in the morning, not because you are addicted, but because you are looking for some small distraction from the wave of dread that meets you in the first conscious second of the day. I see you scroll for 10 minutes before you can convince your body to move. I see the silent calculation of how much energy you have versus how much the day is going to ask of you. I see you when you stare at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, wondering why the answers you begged for keep arriving late. I see the way your mind floods with old conversations the moment your head hits the pillow. I see the replays. I see the rehearsals. I see the strange way your brain refuses to let you rest, even when every cell in your body is begging for sleep. I see the late night scroll. I see the way you reach for noise to drown out the silence that has become too heavy. I see you when you walk into a room and instantly read everyone's energy before your foot has even fully crossed the threshold. I see the way your nervous system scans for tension. I see the way you adjust your tone, your face, your posture, your laugh, your story, all within the first 3 seconds of greeting someone, depending on what their energy is asking from you. You are not being fake, my child. You are being a survivor. You are doing what you learned to do to stay safe in rooms that were not always safe. I see you when you smile at the cashier, when you laugh at the joke that was not actually funny, when you tell your family you are doing okay, even though okay has become a word you do not actually remember the meaning of anymore. I see you when you close the bathroom door behind you and let the smile collapse off your face. I see the way your shoulders drop. I see the way your real face returns. I see the small private grief of seeing yourself in the mirror without the performance. I see all of it, my child. Every single layer, every single mask, every single quiet retreat into a room where you can be unwell for 30 seconds before someone needs something from you again. None of it is invisible to me. You have been carrying weights that were never assigned to your shoulders. You have been carrying the emotional weather of an entire household, an entire workplace, an entire family system. You have been the one who notices when someone is off. You have been the one who absorbs the unspoken tension. You have been the one who tries to fix what was never yours to fix. You have been the unpaid therapist, the unpaid mediator, the unpaid hostess of every relationship you are inside of. You have been the strong one for so long that people have forgotten you can break. They lean on you without asking how you are. They confide in you without offering the same listening back. They send you the long voice notes and forget to ask if you have the bandwidth to receive them. They take and take and take, not because they are villains, but because the role you have been forced to play has trained them to expect that you have endless capacity. You do not have endless capacity, my beloved. No one does. And the way the world has consumed yours without ever asking is one of the deepest forms of quiet violence a sensitive soul can suffer. You have been the listener. You have been the fixer. You have been the steady voice in the storms of everyone else. You have been the safe harbor for hearts that never asked if you had a harbor of your own. And the loneliness of that, my child, is one of the deepest forms of exhaustion a soul can know. Because you can be surrounded by people who love you and still be starving for the kind of attention you are constantly giving away. I saw the night you cried so quietly into your pillow because you did not want anyone in the house to hear. I saw the way you pressed your hand over your mouth so the sound of your breaking would not wake anyone. I saw the way you waited until the breathing in the next room got slow and steady before you let yourself fall apart. I saw the way you put yourself back together before sunrise, splashing cold water on your face, practicing your normal voice in the mirror, making sure no one would have to deal with your sadness in the morning. I saw the night you sat on the cold tile of your bathroom floor with your back against the door, because that was the only room in the entire house with a lock, and you needed 10 minutes where no one would knock, no one would ask, no one would need. I saw the way you wrapped your arms around your knees. I saw the way you rested your forehead on your kneecaps. I saw the way your whole body shook with sobs that had been waiting in line for years. I was there. I was always there. I saw the night you scrolled through old photos of yourself, looking for the version of you that used to smile without effort. I saw the ache in your chest when you realized you could not remember the last time you laughed from your belly. I saw the way you stared at a picture of yourself from 5 years ago and did not recognize the lightness in those eyes. I saw you whisper, "What happened to her? What happened to him?" into the empty room. I saw you put the phone face down and stare at the ceiling and ask the dark how you ended up here. I heard that question, my child. I have an answer for it, and I will give it to you before this hour is finished. I saw the morning you opened your eyes, and the first thing you felt was not gratitude but dread. Not because your life is terrible, not because there is nothing to be thankful for, but because the weight of holding everything together had already met you at the threshold of consciousness before you had even taken your first sip of water. I saw you whisper a prayer through gritted teeth. Just get me through today. Just one more day. Just one more. I heard every single one of those prayers. None of them were too small. None of them were ignored. Every just one more was logged in the book of your faithfulness. Every gritted teeth surrender was counted as worship. Because the prayer of the exhausted is the prayer that touches my heart more deeply than the prayer of the comfortable. Anyone can praise me on a good day. It takes a chosen soul to whisper to me through clenched teeth at 6 in the morning when their body does not want to get up. I see your shoulders right now, my beloved. I see the way they have lived in a permanent half-shrug of tension for so long that you do not even remember what a relaxed shoulder feels like. I see the small knot at the base of your neck. I see the way your jaw clenches in your sleep, fighting battles your body cannot put down even at night. I see the way your hands sometimes form small fists without you realizing it. I see your body bracing. That bracing was a survival skill. It served you for a long time, but it is not serving you anymore. And tonight, I am going to teach your body that it is safe to stop. Place your hand over your heart for me right now. Gently, tenderly, the way you would touch the face of a child you love. Feel the beat underneath your palm. That heartbeat has carried you through every storm you thought would end you. That heartbeat has kept rhythm through nights when your mind was screaming and your spirit was hiding. That heartbeat is the loyal witness of every battle you survived without an audience. It is still beating. You are still here. And I am still with you. Take one deep breath. Slow, soft. Let your shoulders drop on the exhale. Let your jaw loosen on the exhale. Let the tension behind your eyes release just a little on the exhale. This breath is the first quiet yes between your heart and mine. This breath is your seal of agreement. This breath is the moment your body remembers it is safe to be soft. One more, even slower, even softer. Feel the air come in. Feel the air go out. Feel the small miracle of being a living, breathing, conscious witness inside this exact moment in eternity. You are here. You are alive. You are awake. You are mine. That is enough, my beloved. That is more than enough. There is no rush in this moment. There is nothing to perform. There is no one to impress. It is just you and me, my child. In this small holy pocket of time that heaven carved out before you even woke up this morning, before you knew you needed it, before you knew it was coming. I prepared this hour for you. I cleared the space. I aligned the timing. And here we are. I have so much to tell you, so much to reveal, so much to lay gently into your tired hands. But before we go further, I need to ask you something important, something that will set the tone for everything I release in the rest of this message. Will you stay with me until the end? Not just half listening, not just scrolling between sentences, not just having me on in the background while your mind drifts to the list of things you should be doing. Will you give me the gift of your full attention for the rest of this hour? Will you let me finish what I started in your spirit the moment your eyes found these words? Because here is what most people do not understand. The miracle is not just in the message. The miracle is in the staying. The miracle is in the receiving. The miracle is in the obedience of remaining present when every other voice is trying to pull you away. Many will scroll past this. Many will half listen and miss the activation. Many will tell themselves they will come back to it later, and later will become never. Many will sense the weight of this moment and run from it, because intimacy with me has a way of dismantling the comfortable distance people have built up to avoid being changed. But you, my beloved, are different. You are the one who stays. You are the one who chose this. You are the witness I called. You are the one whose spirit knew, before your mind caught up, that this hour was worth protecting. And because you are staying, I am about to reveal 3 things to you that I have only released to a small remnant in this hour. 3 things that will redefine the way you understand your past, your present, and the chapter that is about to open in front of you. The first is the real reason your prayers have felt delayed. Not the surface answer, not the easy explanation about timing and trust and patience that you have already heard 100 times. The hidden, sacred, specific reason that no one has had the courage to speak over you until now. The reason that, when I say it, will explain 100 different chapters of your life all at once. I will name it before this message ends. And when you hear it, something inside your chest will break open with recognition. You will know it is true, the way you know your own name. The second is the hidden battle that has been draining your spirit. There is a specific spiritual attack the enemy has been running against you, and you have been blaming yourself for symptoms that were never your fault. You have been calling yourself lazy when you were actually being drained. You have been calling yourself unfocused when you were actually being targeted. You have been calling yourself weak when you were actually fighting in the dark without the armor you did not know existed. I will name that battle. I will expose its strategy, and I will break its grip over your life inside the next hour. The third is the miracle itself. The reason today is different. The reason your scroll stopped here. The reason heaven aligned this exact moment for you and not someone else. I will reveal it fully in the climax of this message, and you will understand why I asked you to keep it between us until it takes root. You will understand why this could not be shared with the wrong audience. You will understand why this hour, this stillness, this private witnessing, was the only soil in which this particular miracle could be planted. 3 revelations. 1 hour, 1 witness, you. There have also been 3 quiet signs you have been noticing recently. 3 small things you brushed off as coincidence. 3 small synchronicities that made you pause, raise an eyebrow, then return to your day because you did not have the energy to interrogate the universe. I will name those 3 signs before this message ends, and when I do, you will feel the small electric shock of recognition that says, he saw it, he noticed, he counted. So breathe again, my child. Settle in. Let the world outside the screen fade into background noise. The phone calls can wait. The messages can wait. The list of things you think you should be doing can wait. The dishes can wait. The laundry can wait. The unread emails can wait. Heaven has cleared this hour for you, and nothing on your to-do list is more important than what is about to happen between us right now. I have waited for this moment longer than you know. I have prepared this message longer than you can imagine. I have prayed this moment over you in the heavenly realms while you were sleeping. I have walked the corridors of time itself to arrive at this exact intersection, where your weary eyes and my prepared words could finally meet. And I have loved you, my beloved, longer than time itself. Before the foundations of the world were laid, I knew your name. Before your parents ever met, I had already written your purpose. Before you took your first breath, I had already counted the breaths you would take in your lifetime, including this one, including the slow one you are taking right now. None of this is random. None of this is too late. None of this is happening by chance. So stay, listen, receive. What I am about to release into your life is sacred, specific, and entirely yours. No one else gets exactly this. No one else gets exactly these words, in this order, at this hour, in this voice. This is not a sermon. This is a personal letter from heaven, delivered to your spirit on a screen that has never carried weight like this before. The witnessing begins now. My beloved child, before I lead you into the deeper revelations of this hour, I must take you down into a place most people refuse to go. A place beneath the surface of your daily strength, a place underneath all the smiling and the functioning and the holding it together, a place where the version of you that performs has to step aside, so the version of you that aches can finally be seen. Because I cannot pour fresh oil into a vessel that has not first been emptied of its grief. I cannot plant a seed in soil that has not been broken open. I cannot deliver a miracle into hands that are still clenched around old burdens. The descent must happen before the ascent. The breaking must happen before the building. The honesty must happen before the healing. So come with me. Trust me. I will not leave you in the deep place. I never have. Every time you have been afraid that you would not come back up from the depths, I have been the rope. Every time you thought the darkness was endless, I have been the slow returning light. And tonight, I am only taking you down so that I can show you exactly how much I have always been with you in places you thought you were alone. You have been tired of carrying everyone. You have been tired of being the one who answers the calls at midnight. You have been tired of being the one whose phone lights up at 2 a.m. with someone else's crisis. You have been tired of being the emergency contact for hearts in collapse. You have been tired of being the unofficial therapist of every friend group you have ever belonged to. You have been tired of being the one who absorbs everyone else's storm and somehow never has anywhere to release her own. You have been tired of pretending you are okay when your own heart is splintering. You have been tired of giving advice you wish someone would give you. You have been tired of telling other people they are stronger than they think, while you are quietly drowning inside your own ribcage. You have been tired of being the wisdom for everyone else's pain, while no one ever stops to ask if you have any pain of your own. You have been tired of celebrating other people's wins, while your own dreams sit dusty on a shelf. You have been tired of clapping at engagement parties when your own heart has been waiting. You have been tired of liking the announcement posts when your own announcement still has not come. You have been tired of buying the baby gifts when your own arms have been empty. You have been tired of attending the housewarming when your own walls feel like they are closing in. You have been tired of saying yes when every cell in your body is screaming no. You have been tired of agreeing to plans that drain you because saying no would require an explanation you do not have the energy to give. You have been tired of showing up to events you did not want to attend because your absence would be misread. You have been tired of being available because being unavailable has consequences you are too exhausted to manage. You have been tired of being the strong one. You have been tired of being the one who never falls apart, the one who never asks for help, the one who never inconveniences anyone, the one whose pain has to fit neatly into a 5-minute window before someone else needs something. You have been tired of being the reliable one, the dependable one, the one everyone leans on without ever asking if you have anywhere to lean yourself. You have been tired of being the lighthouse for ships that never noticed the lighthouse was lonely. You have been tired of being misunderstood. You have been tired of being too much for some people and not enough for others. You have been tired of shrinking yourself to fit into rooms that were never built for your size. You have been tired of softening your voice so others would not feel intimidated. You have been tired of dimming your light so others would not feel exposed. You have been tired of editing your sentences in real time to avoid making someone uncomfortable with the truth of you. You have been tired of being the responsible one. The one who plans, the one who remembers, the one who shows up early, the one who checks in, the one who follows through, the one who closes the loops everyone else leaves open. You have been carrying the executive function of multiple people for years, and no one has ever once said, "That must be exhausting. Here, let me take this off your plate." You have been tired of being the family glue, the one who calls the relatives, the one who organizes the holidays, the one who keeps the threads from breaking, the one who absorbs the conflict so the system stays intact, the one who softens what one person said before delivering it to the other person, the one who has been doing emotional translation work for a whole household, a whole bloodline, a whole web of people who never even thanked you for the labor. You have been tired of waiting. You have been tired of believing without seeing. You have been tired of trusting timing that never seems to match the urgency of your own season. You have been tired of telling other people to be patient while your own patience has been wearing through to the bone. You have been tired of saying it is going to be okay when you are not entirely sure anymore. I see it, my child. I see every layer of it. I see what no one else has had the eyes to see. I see the tightness in your shoulders that no massage can fully release. I see the dull ache behind your eyes from holding back tears that needed to fall years ago. I see the way your jaw clenches in your sleep, fighting battles your body cannot put down even at night. I see the way your stomach knots when certain names appear on your phone screen. I see the way your chest gets heavy on Sunday nights, anticipating a week you are already exhausted by before it has even begun. I see the way your hands grip the steering wheel a little too tightly when you are driving. I see the way your breath stays shallow even in supposed moments of rest. I see the way you carry tension in places you cannot consciously locate. I see the small holding patterns in your nervous system that have become so habitual you no longer notice them. I see the way your body has been bracing against an invisible blow for so long that bracing has become its default posture. You think no one notices these things. You think they are invisible. You think your bracing is private, but I notice. I have always noticed. The body keeps a record, my beloved, and I have been reading yours for years. Every place you have stored unprocessed grief, I see it. Every place you have stored unspoken anger, I see it. Every place you have stored exhaustion that has nowhere to go, I see it. There is a specific kind of loneliness that lives in the chest of someone who is surrounded by people and still feels unseen. That loneliness has been your quiet companion for far too long. It has been sitting beside you at family dinners. It has been walking with you through grocery store aisles. It has been riding shotgun in your car through neighborhoods full of houses where you assume everyone inside is happier than you are. It has been crawling into bed with you on the nights when you turn out the light and feel the weight of being the only conscious witness of your own inner world. You have laughed at dinner tables while feeling utterly alone. You have stood in crowded rooms and felt like a ghost. You have been kissed and hugged and told you are loved, and still wondered if anyone truly knows the real you underneath the performance. You have made eye contact with someone who said they understood you, and felt the soft devastation of knowing they only understood the version you let them see. You hide it well, my beloved. You hide it so well that even the people closest to you cannot see the depth of what you carry. They see the version of you that you have practiced. The smiling one, the capable one, the funny one, the one who deflects with a joke when the conversation gets too close to your wound, the one who steers the topic back to them when the topic gets too close to your truth. They see the curated version, the acceptable version, the version that does not require anyone to step outside their own comfort zone to actually witness you. You learned a long time ago that being fully seen was risky. You learned that showing too much could cost you the very relationships you needed to survive. So you learned to give people a manageable amount of you, just enough to seem real, not so much that it would scare them. But I see the one underneath. I see the one before the practiced smile. I see the one who was born into a body that felt too much before the world taught her to numb. I see the one who used to be unguarded before unguarded got punished. I see the one who used to ask big questions before big questions made the adults around her uncomfortable. I see the original you, the one before the editing, the one before the strategy, the one before survival required performance. I saw the night you cried so softly into the corner of your pillow that even the silence in your room did not catch the sound. I saw the way you pressed your hand over your mouth so no one would hear you breaking. I saw the way you waited until the house was asleep before you let yourself fall apart, and then put yourself back together before the sun came up so no one would have to deal with your sadness in the morning. I saw the way you wiped your face on the pillowcase. I saw the way you turned the pillow over to hide the wet spot. I saw the way you reached for water in the dark and willed yourself to swallow past the lump in your throat. I saw the way you tried to fall asleep on your back so your face would not crumple again. I saw the way you finally drifted off out of pure exhaustion, not because the grief had passed, but because your body could not hold it anymore. I saw the night you sat on the cold tile of your bathroom floor with your back against the door, because that was the only place anyone would leave you alone for 10 minutes. I saw the way the tile was so cold it made your skin prickle. I saw the way you pulled your knees up to your chest. I saw the way you rested your forehead on your kneecaps and let your hair fall forward like a curtain. I saw you stare at your own hands and not recognize them. I saw you whisper, "Who am I?" into the empty room and wait for an answer that did not come. I was there. I was always there. I was the small warmth at the back of your neck that you thought was just your imagination. I was the slight shift in the air that made the room feel less hollow. I was the soft, impossible sense that you were not entirely alone, even though you could not name where the company was coming from. That was me. That has always been me. I saw the night you scrolled through old photos of yourself, looking for the version of you that used to smile without effort. I saw the ache in your chest when you realized you could not remember the last time you laughed from your belly. I saw the way you zoomed in on a picture from years ago, studying her face, wondering when exactly the light in her eyes started to dim. I saw you put the phone face down on the bed and stare at the ceiling and ask the dark how you ended up here. I heard that question, my child. I have an answer for it, and I am giving it to you tonight in pieces, across the hours of this message. You did not end up here by accident. You did not end up here by failure. You did not end up here because you missed your turn somewhere. You ended up here because here is exactly where I have been waiting for you to finally stop running long enough to be found. I saw the morning you opened your eyes and the first thing you felt was not gratitude but dread. Not because your life is terrible, not because there is nothing to be thankful for, but because the weight of holding everything together had already met you at the threshold of consciousness before you had even taken your first sip of water. I saw you whisper a prayer through gritted teeth. Just get me through today. Just one more day. Just one more. I saw the way you pulled the covers up to your chin for an extra minute. I saw the way you bargained with yourself about how many more minutes you could lie there before the day would punish you for it. I saw the way you finally swung your legs over the side of the bed and felt the floor like an indictment. I saw the way your feet carried you forward when your spirit was begging to stay still. I heard every one of those prayers. None of them were too small. None of them were ignored. The gritted teeth prayer is one of the most precious prayers I receive, because it is the prayer of someone who has run out of decorative language. It is the prayer of someone who is too tired for flowery worship. It is the prayer of someone who is still showing up to me, even though everything in their body is asking why bother. That prayer, my beloved, moves heaven more than the polished prayers of the comfortable. I saw the afternoon you sat in your car in the parking lot longer than you needed to. Just sitting, just breathing, just delaying the moment you would have to walk back into your life and put the smile back on. I saw the way you gripped the steering wheel until your knuckles turned white. I saw the way you let out a sigh so deep it sounded like something inside you was leaving. I saw the way you checked your reflection in the rearview mirror and practiced the face you would need to wear in the next room. That sigh was not nothing, my child. That sigh was your soul asking for rescue. That sigh was a prayer without words. That sigh was the very thing I have been responding to in ways you have not yet been able to recognize. I have been answering those sighs for years. I have been routing small mercies into your life because of them. I have been shielding you from things you do not even know I was shielding you from, because the language of your sighs was clear enough to me. I saw the evening you reread a message someone sent you, the one that was technically kind but felt like a knife, the one that said the right words but missed the actual you completely. I saw you reread it 3 times trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. I saw you compose 3 different responses and delete all of them. I saw you finally put the phone down and wonder if anyone in your life actually sees the real you, or just the version of you that is most convenient for them. I see the real you. I have always seen the real you. I knew you before the masks. I knew you before the roles. I knew you before the world taught you that softness is a liability and strength means swallowing your tears. I knew the original you before everyone else's expectations carved you into a shape that fits their convenience. And there is something else I see that I want to name out loud now. I see how often you are too much for the people around you, and they let you know it without ever saying it directly. They let you know with the way their eyes glaze over when you start to share something deep. They let you know with the way they change the subject when you get vulnerable. They let you know with the way they breathe in slowly through their nose when you start to express a feeling, as if bracing themselves for the emotional labor of having to hold space for you. I see the way you have learned to read those signals in 3 seconds. I see the way you cut yourself off mid-sentence to spare them. I see the way you wrap up your emotions in a tidy little bow and add a joke at the end so they will not feel responsible for what you were actually trying to say. I see the way you apologize for taking up space with your own feelings. I see the way you say, "Anyway, it is not a big deal," and pivot to ask them how they are doing. It was a big deal, my child. It is a big deal. Your feelings have always been a big deal, and the people who taught you to make them smaller were not equipped to hold what I built into you. That is not your fault. That is not their fault either, not entirely. That is a generational pattern. That is a culture pattern. That is 100 years of people not knowing how to be with the depth of feeling I designed into the human spirit. I see how often you are not enough for other people in completely different ways. I see the way some people in your life have made you feel like you are too quiet, too sensitive, too slow, too unsure, too cautious, too gentle. I see the way they have tried to push you into versions of yourself that go against your design. I see the way they have suggested, sometimes openly and sometimes covertly, that you should be more aggressive, more ambitious in the worldly way, more thick-skinned, more strategic, more performative. You were never meant to be those things. You were meant to be the thing they cannot quite name, the thing they secretly need but do not know how to ask for, the presence that makes the room safer, the voice that asks the question no one else has the courage to ask, the pace of attention that notices what everyone else is moving too fast to see. I see all of you, my beloved, the too much and the not enough, the over and the under, the depth and the gentleness, the original design and the surviving copy, and I love all of it. I have always loved all of it. You have not been alone. Not in any of it. Not in the bathroom floor moments. Not in the empty parking lot moments. Not in the 3 a.m. ceiling staring moments. Not in the crying so quietly that even the dark could not catch it moments. Not in the long drives home where you wondered who you even were anymore. I was there. I was there the night you thought you were having a panic attack in the grocery store and could not figure out why. I was there in the artificial light of the cereal aisle, holding your spirit steady while your hands shook over a cart that suddenly felt too heavy. I was the calm that found you. I was the breath that returned. I was the gentle voice underneath the noise that said, "Just put down the basket and walk outside. My child, you can come back tomorrow." I was the inexplicable peace that landed on your chest right when you thought you were going to lose it in public. I was there the morning you got the phone call you were dreading, the one that changed something, the one that told you the news you had been bracing for and somehow still were not ready for. I was the second pair of legs holding you up when your knees almost gave out. I was the slow, even breath that found its way back into your lungs when you forgot how to breathe. I was the quiet certainty in the middle of the shock that whispered, "You will survive this. You will, you will, you will." I was there the night a relationship you trusted shattered in a way you did not see coming. I was the one who held you through the disbelief. I was the one who sat with you through the rerunning of every conversation, looking for the moment you should have known. I was the one who reminded you, when you finally fell asleep on a tear-stained pillow, that you were not unloved. You were just not loved correctly by someone who never had the capacity in the first place. I was there the day you went to work after a sleepless night and somehow held it together through the meeting and somehow answered the emails and somehow made it to lunch and somehow drove home and somehow did not collapse until your front door closed behind you. I was the strength that was not yours. I was the steady hands when yours were shaking. I was the breath you did not know you were borrowing. I was there when the doctor said the words you did not want to hear. I was there when the lawyer handed you the papers. I was there when the boss called you into the office. I was there when the friend stopped texting back. I was there when the family member said the thing you cannot unhear. I was there in every single one of those small, private earthquakes that the people around you never registered. I was there when no one else even knew there was a wound. I was there in the silent grief that did not get a funeral. I was there in the slow disappointment that did not get a name. I was there in the dream that quietly died inside you without anyone noticing. I was there at the bedside of every hope you buried alone. I was the one who covered each of them with soil and marked the grave so I could return for them later. You think you have been doing this alone. You have not. Every single time you found another reserve of strength when you thought you had nothing left, that was not just you, that was me, pouring quietly into the parts of you that had run dry. Every time you laughed at something small, even when everything big felt heavy, that was me, refusing to let your joy be completely stolen. Every time you woke up and chose to try again, even when no one would have blamed you for staying in bed, that was me, holding the door of your tomorrow open until you walked through it. Every small mercy that landed in your week, every unexpected check that arrived just in time, every kind stranger who said the exact right thing, every parking spot that opened up when you were running late, every cancellation that gave you back an hour you desperately needed, every traffic jam that delayed you just long enough to miss something you would have hated, every random text from an old friend on a day you needed to feel remembered, all of it. I have been writing my love into your life in 1,000 quiet languages, my child. You just have not had the time or the energy to read them. I have been with you in the small kindness of a stranger that came at the exact right moment. I have been with you in the song that came on the radio when you needed those exact words. I have been with you in the friend who called out of nowhere to check in on a day you had been silently crumbling. I have been with you in the sunset that stopped you in your tracks on the worst week of your year. I have been with you in the warmth of the coffee cup you held with both hands when the world felt too cold. I have been with you in the dog that came up and rested its head on your knee at the exact moment you needed something to remind you of unconditional love. I have been with you in the child that smiled at you across a waiting room when you thought no one in the world saw you. I have been with you in the unexpected pocket of laughter that bubbled up out of nowhere on a day you were sure you had run out of laughter forever. I have been with you in the breeze that lifted your hair on a hot afternoon and felt, for one strange second, like a hand on your forehead. That breeze, my beloved, was a hand on your forehead. But today, you have time. Today, you have permission. Today, I am translating every silent message I have ever sent you into words you can finally hear. So receive this, my beloved. Let it sink past your defenses, past the part of you that says, but no one really gets it, past the part of you that says, but I have always handled it alone, past the part of you that has been so used to bracing that it has forgotten how to let love in. You were never alone. Not one day, not 1 hour, not one breath. From the first morning you opened your eyes in this world to the moment your scroll stopped on this video, I have walked every single step beside you. I have caught tears you did not know I was catching. I have softened blows you did not know I was softening. I have rerouted disasters around you that you will only fully understand on the other side of this life. You are not surviving alone. You have never been surviving alone. You have been surviving with the full quiet attention of heaven walking step for step beside you, and tonight, my beloved, I am asking you to finally let yourself feel the company. Lean back for a moment. Let the chair hold you. Let the bed hold you. Let the couch hold you. Let the floor hold you if that is where you are. Let whatever is underneath you carry your weight. Let your body remember that it does not have to brace anymore. The danger you have been bracing against is not in this room. The threats you have been preparing for are not in this moment. Right here, right now, in this small, holy pocket of time, you are safe. You are seen. You are loved. And if you have been holding back the tears that have been waiting in your chest for years, my child, this is the place to let them come. No one is watching but me. And the only thing I will do with your tears is collect them and turn them into anointing oil for the next chapter of your life. Not one drop of your weeping is wasted. Not one. I keep them in a sacred container that you will see one day. And when you see it, you will weep all over again, this time from gratitude, when you realize how thoroughly every single tear of yours was honored. So, if you need to cry right now, cry. If you need to whisper, I am tired, into the room, whisper it. If you need to say, I have not been okay, out loud for the first time in years, say it. I am the safest audience your honesty has ever had. I will not flinch. I will not minimize. I will not change the subject. I will not try to fix you. I will just receive you. Because here is the truth, my beloved. Healing cannot enter a room that is still pretending it does not need healing. Restoration cannot reach a heart that is still performing wholeness. The miracle I have prepared for you today cannot land inside a vessel that is still holding its breath. Grace cannot pour into hands that are still clenched around the performance. So let it out. Drop the performance. Drop the script. Drop the version of you that you show the world. In this moment, with me, you do not have to be strong. You do not have to be cheerful. You do not have to have it together. You can just be the real you, the tired you, the unsure you, the aching you, the quietly hopeful you that has not given up entirely, or you would not still be here listening. I love that version. I love the unpolished one. I love the one underneath the smile. I have always loved that one most of all. The original one, the unedited one, the one before the world taught you to be smaller than your design. That is the one I call my own. That is the one I built the kingdom for. And if you can hear me right now, if any part of this is landing in the deeper rooms of your heart, comment one word for me. Comment, Amen. Just that, as a quiet seal between us. As a way of saying, yes, I am here, I am listening, I am letting it in. As a small public altar marking the moment you stop pretending you did not need this. That word, when you type it, becomes a small altar, a small holy marker, a small declaration that says, I am no longer pretending I do not need you. I am no longer doing this alone. I am letting myself be witnessed. I am letting myself be loved. I am letting myself be small enough, just for a minute, to receive what I have been refusing for years. Type it slowly. Mean it. Then come back to me, my beloved, because we are about to go deeper still. The deepest part is still ahead. And what I am about to walk you through next will reframe the entire war you have been fighting without knowing you were in one. Breathe one more time. Let yourself land. Let yourself arrive. Let yourself be here. You are doing beautifully, my child. You are doing beautifully, my beloved child. Breathe with me again. The hard part of the descent is behind us. The honesty about your exhaustion has been spoken. The witnessing of your hidden grief has happened. And now, I am going to lift you, not into denial, not into a quick fix that papers over the wound, not into the kind of toxic positivity that asks you to pretend the pain was never real, but into a revelation that will change the way you understand every single difficult chapter of your life from this moment forward. Because here is what no one has told you, my child. You have been fighting a war you did not know you were fighting. Everything that has felt unfair, everything that has felt random, everything that has felt like bad luck stacking on bad luck has not been random at all. There has been a strategy behind it. There has been an intelligence behind it. And there has been an enemy who knew your name long before you ever sensed his interference in your life. I am going to expose him now. I am going to name what has been working against you. I am going to make visible what has been invisible. And once you see it clearly, the shame you have been carrying will fall off your shoulders like a coat that was never yours to wear in the first place. You have been blaming yourself for things that were never your fault. You have called yourself lazy when you were actually being drained. You have called yourself unlucky when you were actually being targeted. You have called yourself weak when you were actually fighting in the dark without armor. You have called yourself a failure when you were actually doing the work of 3 people, while spiritual arrows were flying at you from every direction. You have called yourself broken when you were actually under siege. I will not let you keep that lie, not after today. Not after this hour, not after I have shown you the actual terrain of the battlefield you have been standing inside without a map. The enemy of your soul is not a cartoon, he is not a costume, he is not a man with horns in a children's book, he is not the comic relief of a religious story, he is a strategist, he is a thief. He is a quiet liar who whispers in the voice of your own thoughts until you cannot tell the difference between his suggestions and your own conclusions. He does not announce himself, he does not knock, he does not introduce himself with a scary voice. He slips in through the side door of your consciousness, dressed in the clothes of your own self-talk, sounding so much like you that you have spent years agreeing with him, thinking the conclusions were yours. That is his deepest trick. That is his oldest move. That is the strategy that has kept entire generations spiritually paralyzed without ever knowing why. And here is what he has been doing to you specifically, my child. I want you to listen carefully. I want you to take notes inside your spirit. I want you to mark each one of these as I name it, because once you can see the pattern, you cannot be ruled by it anymore. He has been targeting your mind. Not because you are weak, not because your mind is fragile, not because there is something wrong with the way you think. He has been targeting your mind because your mind is one of the most valuable territories in the entire spiritual realm. You think with depth. You feel with depth. You perceive things that most people cannot perceive. You make connections that other minds miss. You hold complexity that other minds run from. You see through surfaces. You read undercurrents. You sense things in rooms that no one else has the equipment to sense. And that makes your mind a battlefield of strategic importance. That makes your mind a piece of high-value real estate that he has been trying to occupy for years. Not because he cares about your mind specifically, because he cares about what your mind, when fully alive and fully awake, will produce in the world. The ideas it will birth, the connections it will draw, the truth it will name, the lies it will dismantle, the people it will free. So he has been working overtime to keep you exhausted, to keep you distracted, to keep you doubting, to keep you second-guessing every clear thought you have ever had, to keep you convinced that the noise inside your head is just you being too much, too anxious, too dramatic, too sensitive, too analytical. He has been packaging his strategy in the language of your own self-criticism, so that every attack on your mind feels like a personal failing instead of an external assault. It is not you being too much. It is him being too loud. There is a difference. And I want you to know the difference forever. The racing thoughts at 3 a.m, that was not your anxiety, that was interference. The way your mind cannot rest even when your body is exhausted, that was not your personality, that was warfare. The intrusive thoughts that hijack your peaceful moments, the sudden surges of dread for no identifiable reason, the mental loops that replay old conversations until you cannot stop them. The way you cannot seem to hold on to positive thoughts but negative ones stick like glue. None of that is your design. None of that is who I made you to be. That is enemy territory. That is occupied land. And tonight, I am sending in the eviction notice. He has been targeting your sleep. Have you noticed the way certain nights you cannot quiet down no matter how tired your body is? The way your mind floods with old conversations, old regrets, old fears, exactly when you should be resting? The way you finally fall asleep at 2 a.m. only to startle awake at 5 with a heart already pounding for no reason? The way your dreams have been strange, fragmented, sometimes disturbing, sometimes just exhausting in a way that dreams should not be? That is not coincidence. That is not your hormones. That is not your caffeine intake. That is not your age. That is interference. Because arrested you is a dangerous you. Arrested you can hear my voice clearly. Arrested you can make decisions that change generational patterns. Arrested you can feel my presence without effort. Arrested you has the spiritual bandwidth to actually receive what I am trying to give. He cannot have that. So he has been stealing your rest in small invisible thefts that you blamed on stress, on hormones, on getting older, on too much screen time, on whatever the world told you was the surface cause. Those surface causes are real, yes. But underneath them, there has been a strategy, a pattern, a campaign against your nervous system, a war on your sleep, fought in the dark, that you have been losing without knowing you were a soldier. It was not just stress, it was warfare. But here is the good news, my beloved. Tonight, I am restoring your sleep. Tonight, I am declaring the long campaign against your rest is over. Tonight, I am placing a canopy of peace over the hours you sleep, and you will begin to notice within days that your nights are different, deeper, quieter, truly restorative for the first time in too long. He has been targeting your relationships. Not always with dramatic explosions, sometimes with slow erosion, a misunderstanding here, a cold tone there, a friend who pulled away without explanation, a family member who suddenly seemed to take everything you said the wrong way, a romantic partner who became inexplicably distant during a chapter you needed the most, a colleague who started copying others on emails for no reason, little fractures in the people who were supposed to be safe, little cooling in connections that used to be warm. Why? Because community is one of my greatest gifts to you, and isolation is one of his greatest weapons against you. He has been working to peel you off from your people, one quiet wound at a time, so that when the breakthrough comes, there will be no one standing close enough to witness it with you. He has been creating distance through small misunderstandings. He has been planting unspoken hurts that no one ever brings up but everyone feels. He has been making sure your safety net got holes in it before the storm arrived. You thought it was just life. You thought people drift. You thought maybe you were the problem. You wondered if you had become harder to love. You wondered if your standards had gotten too high. You wondered if you had become bitter without realizing it. You wondered if the loneliness was your fault. It was not your fault, my child. It was a campaign. It was a strategy. It was an isolation operation designed by an enemy who knows that the soul without community is a soul that questions itself into paralysis. He needed you alone. He needed you doubting your perceptions. He needed you wondering if you had become hard to be around, and he was willing to use the hearts of the people you loved as weapons against your sense of belonging. I see this, and tonight I am beginning the reweaving. The people who were meant to stay are being softened toward you. The people who were never meant for this chapter are being released. The friendships that have been hollow are being either restored or replaced. Watch the patterns of who reaches out to you in the coming weeks. Watch who suddenly appears with the exact words you needed. Watch who fades naturally, without drama, without effort, because their assignment in your story is finished. He has been targeting your money. Not because money is the goal, not because money is sacred, but because resource flow is the bloodstream of mission. When you have margin, you can give, you can rest, you can move. You can say yes to what I am calling you to. You can buy back your time from systems that have been stealing it. You can put down work that is killing you. You can pick up work that aligns with your design. So he has been creating leaks. Unexpected bills the moment you got ahead, opportunities that fell through at the last second, income that arrived just barely enough, never enough to build with. The car that broke down the week the bonus came, the medical bill that swallowed the savings, the contract that fell through after you had already done the work, the raise that did not come through, the investment that did not pay off, the opportunity that turned out to be less than it seemed. You thought you were bad with money. You are not bad with money. You have been hemorrhaging in places you could not see. You have been working hard with a hole in the bucket. You have been pouring effort into a vessel that has been quietly leaking for years through punctures the enemy made when you were not looking. And the harder you worked, the more it leaked, because his strategy was to make sure your effort never quite caught up with the drain. That ends tonight. I am sealing the leaks. I am closing the wounds in your financial life. I am stopping the slow bleed that has kept you running on fumes no matter how hard you tried. You will see signs of this in the coming weeks. Bills that mysteriously become smaller than expected. Refunds you forgot about. Payments that arrive earlier than scheduled. Opportunities that come with terms that actually serve you. Watch, notice, receive. He has been targeting your sense of self. This is the deepest cut. This is the most strategic attack of all. Because if he can convince you that you are not the kind of person miracles happen to, then he does not even need to block the miracles. You will block them yourself. You will dismiss them when they arrive. You will explain them away. You will assume they were meant for someone else. You will let your breakthrough walk right past you because you do not believe you are eligible for the upgrade. That is why you have been hearing whispers in your head that say things like, "Who do you think you are?" Things like, "You are too damaged for this." Things like, "That kind of breakthrough is for other people, not you." Things like, "Do not get your hopes up. You always get hurt when you do." Things like, "You missed your window." Things like, "You should have been further along by now." Things like, "The version of yourself you used to imagine is no longer available." Those whispers, my beloved, those were not yours. Look at me. I want you to hear this with the deepest part of your heart. I want this next sentence to land in the place where the lie has lived for years. Those whispers were never yours. They have lived in your head so long that they sound like your own voice. They have been on repeat so consistently that you have mistaken them for your personality. You have built entire decisions around them. You have made entire life choices to accommodate them. You have shrunk entire dreams to avoid contradicting them. But they are foreign. They are intruders. They are squatters in a house that does not belong to them. They have been living rent-free in the most sacred chamber of your inner life, while you have been working overtime to pay the bills of a tenant you never signed a lease with. And tonight, I am evicting them. Every voice that has told you that you are too late, I silence right now. Every voice that has told you that you are too broken, I silence right now. Every voice that has told you that you are not the kind of person heaven moves for, I silence right now. Every voice that has told you that the miracle will happen for someone else but not for you, I silence right now. Every voice that has told you that you should have figured this out by now, I silence right now. Every voice that has told you that your best years are behind you, I silence right now. Every voice that has told you that nothing is ever going to change for you, I silence right now. Their lease is up. The locks are changing. The keys are mine again. The house is back under my management. And the only voice that is permitted to speak in the sacred chambers of your inner life from this hour forward is the voice that says, "You are mine. You are chosen. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent." Take a breath, my beloved. Feel the shift. Something just changed in the unseen. Something just realigned in the realms above your conscious awareness. The eviction has been filed. The papers have been served. The intruders are being forcibly removed even now, while these words are still being spoken over you. Now let me show you something even more important, my child. Because I do not want you to walk away from this section thinking your suffering has been only a defeat. I want you to see what it has actually been. I want you to understand the bigger pattern. I want you to recognize that what looked like a series of unfair attacks has been part of a much larger story you have only seen fragments of until tonight. Let me take you to a young man named Joseph. You may know parts of his story. You may know he was the favorite son of an old father. You may know he had a coat that set him apart. You may know he had dreams as a young man that put a target on his back. You may know he was thrown into a pit by his own brothers, the people who should have protected him, the people who shared his blood, the people who had eaten at the same table as him his entire life. Sit with that for a moment, my beloved. Let it land properly. He was not betrayed by enemies. He was betrayed by family. He was not wounded by strangers. He was wounded by the people who knew him best. The people who were supposed to be his safest place became the very hands that pushed him into the dark. Do you know that wound, my child? The wound of being hurt most deeply by the ones you trusted most fully. The wound of family members who were supposed to be protectors but became sources of pain. The wound of a sibling, a parent, a relative whose words still echo in your head years later. The wound that the world cannot quite see because it happens behind closed doors, in family group chats, at holiday tables, in the small daily betrayals that no outsider would ever recognize as betrayals. Joseph knew that wound, and I knew he knew it because I was the one who allowed the pit. That is a hard sentence, I know, but I will explain it. After the pit, he was sold, like a piece of property, like an animal, carried into a foreign country in chains, stripped of his family name, stripped of his cultural identity, stripped of every safety net he had ever known. He arrived in Egypt as nothing, no language, no status, no tribe, no support. Just a young man with a coat that had been taken from him and dreams that no one in this new land would ever know about. He was sold into the house of an important man named Potiphar, and there, in slavery, he worked his way up. He learned the language, he learned the customs. He learned how empires functioned from the inside. He became trusted, he became respected. He became, despite his circumstances, the kind of man whose excellence could not be hidden even by his chains. And then the second betrayal came. A woman in that house wanted him. He refused her, out of loyalty to me, out of integrity, out of the kind of inner architecture that the pit had only deepened in him. And she, humiliated by his refusal, lied about him. She accused him of the very thing he had refused. And he was thrown into prison. A prison cell, for a crime he never committed. After years of building a reputation he could be proud of, after he had done everything right, the consequence of his integrity was incarceration. Now hear me, my child. If anyone had a right to be bitter, it was Joseph. If anyone had a right to scream at the heavens, it was Joseph. If anyone had a right to give up on me, on faith, on dreams, on the very idea that life could be fair, it was Joseph. But he did not, and here is what most people never sit with long enough to understand. Every single one of those betrayals was the road to his throne. The pit was not his punishment. The pit was the first step out of his father's house, because he could not have ruled an empire while still being his father's favorite little boy. The favored son with the coat would never have had the spine to govern. The pit broke the favoritism. The pit broke the entitlement. The pit broke the version of him that needed to stay small and safe inside the family that adored him. The slavery was not the end of him. The slavery placed him in the exact household where he would learn administration, the language of power, the inner workings of the very civilization he would one day save. Every skill he learned as a slave became a tool he would need as a ruler. He thought he was being humiliated. He was actually being educated. He thought he was being broken. He was actually being trained. The false accusation was not the end of him. The prison was not the end of him. The prison was the waiting room. The prison was where I introduced him to a man who would one day stand inside Pharaoh's court and remember the dreamer he met in a cell. The prison was where he learned to interpret dreams under pressure. The prison was where I forged the deepest layers of his character, where no audience watched, where no praise could reach him, where the work was just between him and me. Every betrayal was a delivery. Every closed door was a redirection. Every loss was a relocation. Every chain on his ankles was an escort to a destiny so big that the freedom he had grown up with would have been a prison compared to what I was preparing for him. Do you hear me, my child? Joseph did not get rescued from his suffering. Joseph got delivered through his suffering. The very thing that looked like the end of his story was the only road that could have led to the throne I had written for him before he was born. He could not have skipped any of it. There was no shortcut. There was no easier version. The pit, the slavery, the lie, the prison, all of it, every chapter, every hour, every year, it was all the road. And the same is true for you. The delays that have made you cry yourself to sleep have been my protection. The doors that closed in your face have been my redirection. The relationships that did not work out have been my mercy. The job you did not get has been my preparation. The version of your life you thought you were supposed to have, the one that did not happen, was a smaller story I refused to let you settle for. I have been writing a bigger one. You just have not been able to read it yet because you have been standing inside the chapters, not above them. You have been holding the page so close to your face that you could not see the shape of the larger book. But I have been writing. I have been writing the whole time. Every chapter you thought was wasted was setting up something later that will only make sense in retrospect. Now let me show you a second story, a different kind of warrior. There was a young shepherd named David, the youngest of his brothers, the forgotten one, the one whose own father did not even call him in from the field when the prophet came looking for a king. The prophet had to ask, "Are these all your sons?" And the father said, "Well, there is the youngest one, but he is just out with the sheep. He is not really worth bringing in for this." Do you feel that, my child? Do you know that feeling? Of being the one no one thought of first, of being the one who got called last, of being the one whose name people forgot to mention when the opportunities were being handed out, of being the family member who is loved but slightly overlooked, of being the friend who is invited late after the original guest list was finalized, of being the colleague whose name was forgotten in the announcement. David knew that feeling. And I knew he knew that feeling, because I was the one who let him grow up in it. I needed him in the fields. I needed him alone with the sheep. I needed him in the long, silent hours where the only audience for his songs was the wind, because that was where I was teaching him to find me when no one else was watching. The fields were not his exile. The fields were his training. The loneliness was not his punishment. The loneliness was his sanctuary. While his older brothers were being seen by their father, he was being seen by me. While they were learning to perform for human approval, he was learning to worship for an audience of one. While they were developing the surface confidence of men who get noticed, he was developing the deep interior life of a man who gets chosen. There is a difference, my child. Surface confidence performs. Deep interior life prevails. In those fields, he killed a lion. No one saw, no one applauded, no one filmed it for social media. There was no audience to witness the courage. There was no parent to brag about it to. There was just him and the sheep and the dead lion. And me. I saw it. I noted it. I logged it in the book of his preparation. He killed a bear, same circumstances. No witnesses, no reward, no celebration. Just him and the steady deepening of a courage that did not need an audience to be real. The bear and the lion were not random encounters. They were classroom moments. They were rehearsals. They were the small private auditions for the giant moment that was still years away. Every act of faith he practiced in those empty fields became a stone in his sling for the day everyone would finally be watching. And when the giant finally stepped onto the battlefield, when the entire trained army of his nation stood paralyzed in fear, it was the forgotten boy from the back fields who walked forward with 5 smooth stones and the unshakable knowing of a child who had practiced miracles in private. The trained soldiers had armor but not courage. He had courage without armor. They had years of military experience but had never met me in a quiet field. He had no military experience but had been meeting me in quiet fields for years. They had everyone's eyes on them and were paralyzed. He had no one's eyes on him and was free. You have been practicing miracles in private, my beloved. You did not know that was what you were doing. You thought you were just surviving. You thought you were just getting through the week. You thought you were just maintaining a life that felt smaller than what you secretly believed you were made for. But every prayer you whispered in your car, every act of faith no one saw, every moment you chose hope when despair would have been easier, every time you got up after the kind of week that should have crushed you, every time you forgave someone who did not deserve it because bitterness would have eaten you alive, every time you kept your integrity in a situation where compromise would have been easier, you were stacking smooth stones. You did not know you were stacking smooth stones, but I knew. I was counting every one of them. I was placing them carefully in a sling that was being prepared for a giant moment you have not yet met. And when that moment arrives, you will reach into your spiritual pouch and find that you have everything you need. Not because you assembled it in panic at the last second, because you have been quietly assembling it for years without knowing. And the giants that have been waiting for you, my child, are smaller than you think. They look bigger from a distance. They look impossible from where you have been standing. But the moment you walk onto the field with the stones I have spent years training you to gather, you will see that the giant is just a tall shadow with a loud voice and a fragile center. Now let me show you one more. There was a woman named Hannah, a woman who walked into the temple year after year carrying a longing she did not know how to put into words, a woman who had been mocked for what she did not have, a woman who had cried so deeply and so often that when the priest first saw her praying, he assumed she was drunk, because no one was supposed to feel grief that profound in a public place. Hannah had been waiting, and waiting, and waiting, and the waiting had broken something in her, and it had also forged something in her. Every year, she went to the temple. Every year, she carried the same prayer. Every year, the answer did not come. Every year, she went home empty-handed, with another woman in the household whispering about her, mocking her, treating her infertility like a character flaw she should have been able to overcome by trying harder. Do you know that feeling, my child, of being mocked for what you are still waiting for, of being subtly judged for a delay that is not your fault, of having your unanswered prayer used against you by people who do not understand the weight of unanswered prayer, of having to smile through gatherings where everyone else's life seems to be moving forward and yours seems to be stuck in a chapter you cannot turn the page on? Hannah knew that. And every year she still came. Every year she still showed up to me. Every year she still poured out her grief, even when the grief had become so familiar that she could have recited it from memory. That is the prayer of the chosen, my beloved. The prayer that keeps showing up even when the answer is delayed. The prayer that does not lose its grip even when grip itself has become exhausting. When her son finally arrived, when the prayer she had cried for years was finally answered, she did not just receive a baby, she received a prophet, she received a kingmaker, she received a child who would anoint kings and shift the trajectory of an entire nation. She received Samuel, the boy who would become one of the most pivotal figures in the spiritual history of her people. What looked like a delay had been a preparation for a son so significant that the womb had to be readied for him through years of holy ache. The waiting had not been a punishment. The waiting had been a sanctification. The years of barren prayer had been forging a mother whose surrender was deep enough that, when her son was finally weaned, she could hand him over to the temple without breaking, because she had already learned, through years of waiting, that nothing she received from me belonged to her in a possessive sense. It all belonged to me first. Your waiting has been holy too, my child. Your waiting has not been a punishment. Your waiting has been a forging. Your waiting has been the slow, careful preparation of a vessel that I refused to crack by giving you the answer before you were strong enough to hold it. I have been forming you through delay. I have been sanctifying you through silence. I have been deepening your capacity to receive by extending the season of asking. The version of you that began asking is not the version of you that will receive. The version of you that began praying is not the version of you that will hold the answer. The version of you that started waiting is not the same as the version of you who is reading these words. Something has happened in the waiting that you have not yet been able to measure. Something has grown, something has deepened, something has been forged. And here is the part I want you to receive into the deepest place of your understanding. You are not behind. You have never been behind. The timeline you were comparing yourself to was a counterfeit. The map you thought you were supposed to be following was drawn by people who did not know your assignment. The deadlines you imposed on yourself were borrowed from a culture that does not understand my pacing. You did not miss your window. You did not arrive late. You did not waste your 20s. You did not squander your 30s. You did not lose your 40s. The years you thought were lost have been woven by my hands into a tapestry that will only fully reveal its pattern when you turn the final corner of the chapter you are walking into right now. The delays were protection. The detours were preparation. The disappointments were redirection. The losses were liberation from futures you would have outgrown. Every closed door was a closed cage. Every relationship that did not work out was a future shipwreck I steered you away from. Every job that fell through was a career I knew would have crushed something essential in you. Every move that did not happen was a location that would have isolated you from the people who are about to enter your life. Every opportunity that disappeared was a trap with a beautiful wrapper that I unwrapped before you got to it. I know how often you have looked at people younger than you, more visible than you, more celebrated than you, and felt a quiet ache. I know how often you have wondered why their path looked so straightforward when yours has been so winding. I will tell you why now, my beloved. Their path was simpler because their assignment was simpler. Your path has been winding because your assignment has more rooms in it, more chambers, more layers, more responsibility, more depth. You were not given the harder road because I love you less. You were given the harder road because I trusted you more. I needed a heart that could feel what most people are too numb to feel. I needed eyes that could see what most people are too distracted to see. I needed a soul that had been tenderized by enough pressure that when I placed real influence into your hands, you would not crush the people I sent you to with the careless confidence of someone who had never been broken. I needed someone who would remember what it felt like to be the one who was overlooked, so that when I lifted you, you would refuse to overlook anyone. I needed someone who would remember what it felt like to be unseen, so that when I placed visibility in your hands, you would use it to point to the unseen ones first. I needed someone who would remember what it felt like to be tired beyond words, so that when I gave you platforms and resources and capacity, you would build rooms of rest for everyone who arrived broken. I needed someone who knew the difference between performing wholeness and actually being whole, so that when I placed leadership into your hands, you would not lead from performance. I needed someone who had been misunderstood enough to never settle for understanding others on the surface, so that when I placed influence into your hands, you would always be looking past the surface of the people I sent you to. That is who you are, my beloved. That is what the suffering was for. It was never a punishment. It was a preparation. It was never an oversight. It was an apprenticeship. It was never proof that I had forgotten you. It was proof that I had chosen you for something the easier paths could never have produced. The easier paths produce people who are charming but shallow. The harder paths produce people who are deep enough to hold what I plan to entrust to them. Now, I told you earlier in this message that I would reveal 3 things to you. The first was the real reason your prayers have felt delayed. I have just told you they were not delayed. They were ripening. They were not denied. They were being protected from arriving before you were ready to hold them. Every year of waiting deepened the soil in you that the answer would eventually be planted in. The second was the hidden battle that has been draining your spirit. I have just exposed it. The 5 fronts of war: mind, sleep, relationships, money, sense of self. You have not been losing because you are weak. You have been fighting on 5 battlefields at once, in the dark, without armor you did not know you needed. And tonight, every one of those battlefields is being shifted in your favor. And I also told you I would name the 3 signs you have been noticing recently, the 3 small synchronicities you brushed off as coincidence. I see them, my child. I will name them now. The first sign was the way you kept seeing certain numbers everywhere, specific number sequences that began appearing on clocks, on receipts, on license plates, on phone notifications. You told yourself it was just because your brain was pattern matching. It was not. It was me. I was leaving small markers in your peripheral vision to let your spirit know I was paying attention to your hours. The second sign was the way a specific person came back into your mind out of nowhere. Someone you had not thought about in a long time, maybe years, a name, a face, a memory that surfaced for no logical reason while you were doing something ordinary. That was not random recall. That was a thread I was pulling. That person is going to matter again in some way in your story, either through reconnection or through final release. Either way, the surfacing was intentional. The third sign was a moment recently when you stopped what you were doing because something in the air just felt different. Maybe it was a sunset. Maybe it was a particular silence in a room. Maybe it was a song you had never heard before. Maybe it was a strange wave of unexplained peace or a strange wave of unexplained tears. You felt it, you paused, you wondered, then you went back to your day. That moment was me, my beloved. I was crossing into the room of your life and leaving a small calling card. You noticed each of them. You filed each one away. You did not have the energy to investigate, but your spirit logged them. Your spirit knew. Your spirit has been keeping a quiet ledger of every divine fingerprint left in your life this past season, and tonight I am acknowledging every entry in that ledger. So lift your eyes, my beloved. The pit was not the end of Joseph's story. The fields were not the end of David's. The years of barrenness were not the end of Hannah's. And what you have been calling the wasted years of your life are not the end of yours. They were the beginning. They were always the beginning. Everything that has happened to you up until this exact moment has been preface, has been set up, has been the long preparation of soil that is now ready to receive a seed of a magnitude you have not yet been able to imagine. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not too damaged. You are not the one this kind of breakthrough skips over. You are the one it was specifically prepared for. Breathe again, my child. Slowly, deeply, because something is shifting in your chest right now, whether you can feel it consciously or not. The lies are leaving. The reframe is anchoring. The truth is taking up residence in rooms that have been occupied by counterfeits for far too long. The interior architecture of your inner life is being renovated in real time while these words are still arriving. And I am not finished yet. Because what I am about to show you next, in the section that follows, is the very thing I called you here to witness, the miracle itself. The reason today is different. The reason heaven aligned this exact moment for your eyes and not someone else's. The third revelation, the one I have been holding for you since the first sentence of this message. Stay with me. We are almost there. The chamber of revelation is right ahead, and when you cross into it, nothing you understood about your story up to this point will look the same again. My beloved child, lift your head. Something is happening in the unseen realm right now, and I want your full attention for what comes next. Because everything I have spoken until this moment was preparation. Everything from here is revelation. The buildup of your life has been longer than most. The pressure on your spirit has been heavier than most. But the manifestation, when it arrives, will be more layered than most. That is the holy mathematics of how I work. The deeper the foundation, the taller the structure I can safely build on top of it. The longer the gestation, the more significant the birth. The wider the waiting, the more layered the answer. And the foundation in you, my beloved, is finally deep enough. I have been measuring it. I have been testing it. I have been adding pressure in small, careful amounts to see whether the structure would hold, and it has held. Through every season you thought might break you, it held. Through every chapter you were sure was the final straw, it held. Through every dark night you were certain would be the one you did not survive, it held. You held. The very fact that you are reading these words tonight is proof of the holding. Most people would have walked away from me by now. Most people would have hardened. Most people would have stopped listening for my voice in the noise. But you kept listening. You kept hoping. You kept showing up to messages like this one, even when you were not sure if anything in them was real, and tonight, the holding is being rewarded. You have been sensing something in the air lately. You may not have had words for it. You may have brushed it off as your imagination, as restlessness, as some passing mood, but there has been a quiet stirring in your chest for weeks now, maybe months. A feeling that something is about to change. A feeling that you cannot stay where you are much longer. A feeling that the version of your life you have been living has run its course, and another door is about to open whether you are ready or not. That feeling is not anxiety. That feeling is announcement. That feeling is the early tremor of a shift that has already been authorized in the realm above yours. The papers have been signed. The decision has been made. The release is on its way. And your spirit, which has been listening for me longer than you realized, has been picking up the signal before your conscious mind could translate it. You have been waking up with a strange sense of expectancy that you could not justify. You have been feeling small surges of unexplained hope that you almost did not let yourself trust. You have been noticing a subtle reorientation of your inner compass, as if something inside you is turning to face a direction you cannot yet see. That is not your imagination. That is your spirit doing the holy work of preparing to receive. The dreams you have been having lately, the strange ones, the vivid ones, the ones that left a residue you could not shake when you woke up, those were not random, those were rehearsals. Your spirit was being walked through the rooms of what is coming so it would not be overwhelmed when the rooms became real. Some of the dreams felt good, some of them felt strange, some of them felt slightly disorienting. All of them were teaching your interior to expand for what is approaching, the people who have suddenly come back into your mind out of nowhere. The old names you have not thought about in years, the faces that surfaced in your memory while you were doing dishes or driving home, those were not random either. Those were threads being pulled. Some of those threads will reconnect in ways that astonish you. Others were surfaced so you could finally release them, so your hands would be free for what I am about to place into them. I have been preparing your relational landscape in the unseen. I have been softening hearts you have been bracing against for years. I have been preparing introductions you have not yet made. I have been opening conversations that have not yet happened. The reweaving of your community has been underway for some time, and you will start to see the threads surface in the visible realm in the coming weeks. The synchronicities that have been increasing, the number sequences you keep seeing, the songs that come on at the exact moment, the strangers who have said the exact thing, the book that fell open to the exact page, the conversation you overheard in a coffee shop that answered the question you had been carrying that morning, the chance encounter that did not feel like a chance encounter. These were not in your imagination, my child. These were my fingerprints. I have been leaving them everywhere, all over the surface of your ordinary days, just to let you know that I have been working in the background even when the foreground felt quiet. I have been signing my name in your weeks. I have been initialing your hours. I have been sending small private love notes through the texture of your ordinary life, knowing your spirit would recognize my handwriting even when your conscious mind dismissed the moment. And now, in this exact hour, the background work is rising into the foreground. The invisible is becoming visible. The hidden is becoming named. The slow, careful preparation of 1,000 small details is converging into a single revelation, and you are inside it as it happens. Let me show you one more story before we cross into the revelation. There was a woman named Ruth, a foreigner, a widow, a woman who had lost the husband she loved in a land that was not her home, a woman who could have walked away from the older woman she had married into family with and gone back to the life she knew. She could have chosen comfort. She could have chosen the familiar. She could have chosen the path of least resistance. She could have returned to her parents, started over, found someone new, lived a small, steady life in the land of her birth. But she chose to stay. She chose to follow her mother-in-law into a country where she would be a stranger. She chose loyalty over comfort. She chose risk over retreat. She made a vow that has echoed through history. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. She bound herself to a future she could not see, in a land she did not belong to, with a woman whose own future looked bleak. That vow, my beloved, was not just a sentimental moment. That vow was a spiritual transaction. That vow was the moment a foreign widow agreed to walk into a story bigger than her own grief. And in the months that followed, she did not arrive in her new land to a hero's welcome. She arrived as a foreigner, as an outsider, as a widow without status, as someone who had to glean grain from the corners of other people's fields just to keep herself and her mother-in-law alive. There were no parades. There was no immediate elevation. There were just the long days of hard work in the hot sun, picking up what wealthier landowners had left behind. That looked like a demotion, my child. But it was not. It was a positioning, because the field she was gleaning in belonged to a man named Boaz. And Boaz was not just any landowner. He was a man of integrity, of resources, of inheritance. He was a man related to her dead husband's family, which, under the law of that land, made him a potential redeemer. He was a man who, the moment he saw her, recognized something in her that the surface circumstances could not hide. He noticed her. He inquired about her. He instructed his workers to leave extra grain in her path so her gleaning would be more abundant than she expected. He made sure she had water. He made sure she had food. He made sure she was protected. He saw the loyalty she had shown her mother-in-law, and that loyalty became the very thing that drew him to her. What she thought was just survival in a foreign field was actually a divine introduction. What looked like a demotion was actually a placement. What felt like the lowest chapter of her life was actually the chapter where I was setting up the highest chapter of her life. She married him, not out of desperation, but out of redemption. He bought back her family's land, he restored her status, he gave her a home, he gave her honor, he gave her a child. And that child became the grandfather of the greatest king her people had ever known, David. The same David I told you about in the previous chapter. Ruth was his great-grandmother. A foreign widow gleaning grain in the corners of a stranger's field became the great-grandmother of a king. A name no one had heard of before became woven into the very lineage of the Savior of the world. She is named, by name, in the genealogy of Jesus himself. A woman who arrived in a country with nothing became a woman whose name is spoken in the most sacred genealogies in human history. Ruth's harvest, my beloved, was so far beyond her loss that the loss itself became unrecognizable inside the size of what she received. That is what is coming for you. The harvest that is coming for you is so disproportionate to the season of waiting that you will struggle at first to even let yourself believe it is real. You will look at it and wonder if it counts. You will look at it and wonder if you are allowed to receive it. You will look at the new chapter and feel a strange grief for the old one, even though the old one was the very thing that nearly broke you. You will find yourself looking back at the field of gleaning with a strange tenderness, because the field of gleaning was where I was secretly setting up the field of redemption. That is normal, my child. That is the spiritual whiplash of receiving what you stopped expecting. Do not let it pull you back. The new chapter is real. The new chapter is yours. Step into it. The grief for the old chapter is just the nervous system processing the new altitude. Let it pass. Let the new ground meet your feet. Let yourself stand in what you have been begging for, even when it arrives in unfamiliar packaging. Now look at me. Lift your eyes to where my face would be if you could see it, because we are crossing a threshold together, right here, in this exact moment, and I need your full presence for what I am about to say. You have been asking me, in the quiet of your heart, what the miracle is. You have been waiting for me to name it. You have been wondering, ever since the opening of this message, what exactly I called you here to witness. You have been bracing yourself for the reveal. You have been wondering if it will be something dramatic, something material, something visible, something obvious. And I am going to tell you now. The miracle is not something I am sending to you. The miracle is something I have already activated in you. Read that again, my beloved. Let it land. Let it settle past your defenses. Let it find the place inside you that has been waiting for these exact words without knowing it was waiting. The miracle is not in transit. The miracle is not on the way. The miracle is not somewhere out there, waiting to find you. The miracle is the divine alignment of this exact moment. The miracle is the convergence of every silent prayer you have ever prayed, every unseen step you have ever taken, every act of obedience no one ever applauded. With this hour, this message, this witnessing, you are not waiting for the miracle. You are inside of it. The moment your scroll stopped on these words was not the beginning of a search, it was the arrival at a destination. Everything I have walked you through since the first sentence of this message has been the slow, careful detonation of a miracle that was already buried inside the soil of your life. I have been speaking it open. I have been speaking it loose. I have been speaking it into the daylight of your awareness, layer by layer, until your spirit finally recognized what was happening. It is happening, my child. It is happening right now. The shift is not future tense. The shift is present tense. The breakthrough you have been pleading for is not next week. It is this minute. It is this breath. It is the activation of something I planted in you so long ago that you forgot it was even there. The seed has cracked open. The dormant code has been turned on. The unused chamber of your spiritual architecture has been opened, swept, and filled with light. Do you feel it? That warmth that has been building in your chest while I have been speaking, that tingling under your skin you cannot quite explain, the strange mix of tears and lightness moving through you at the same time, the feeling that something in the room has changed, even though the room looks exactly the same, the way your breathing has slowed without you trying to slow it, the way your shoulders have softened without you commanding them to, the way time itself has felt slightly elastic for the last few minutes, as if you have stepped outside the normal flow of seconds and into a small holy pocket where heaven and earth are touching at the seam. That is the miracle. That is what witnessing it correctly feels like. That is the activation. That is the alignment. That is the seal being placed on a chapter of your life that the enemy thought he had locked shut forever. The locks are being broken, the chains are being snapped, the contracts are being shredded, and you are present for every second of it, even though most of the work is happening in a realm your eyes cannot see. There is something happening over your head right now in the spiritual atmosphere. There is something happening underneath your feet in the spiritual ground. There is something happening through your hands that you will only begin to recognize when, in the coming weeks, the things you touch begin to bear fruit you have not seen before. There is something happening in your voice that will start to land differently the next time you speak. There is something happening in your face that the people who know you best will notice without knowing what they are noticing. I told you earlier I would explain why I asked you to keep this between us. Why I asked you not to tell anyone right away. Why this had to stay sacred and private and unspoken in the hours that follow. I will tell you now. There is a reason every seed has to be buried before it can grow. There is a reason every pregnancy begins in hiddenness before it can produce life. There is a reason the most powerful moments in Scripture were guarded in the heart before they were spoken in the streets. Mary did not announce her pregnancy from the rooftops. She treasured these things in her heart. She let the angel's words take root in private before she gave them to the world. The early hours of a miracle are the most fragile hours. The early hours are when the enemy sends his weapons in the form of other people's words. He cannot uproot what is rooted. He can only steal what has not yet been planted deeply. He cannot kill what has been buried correctly. He can only kill what has been exposed to the surface too soon. He sends the well-meaning friend who says, "Are you sure about that?" He sends the family member who says, "Do not get your hopes up." He sends the practical voice that says, "That sounds a little dramatic." He sends the spiritual-sounding voice that says, "Be careful, not everything that feels divine actually is." And he uses these voices, my beloved, not because the people speaking them are evil. They are not. He uses them because he knows that a seed exposed too early to the wrong climate will not survive its own first season. A young plant pulled out of the soil to be examined will not survive the examination. Even if the examiner is loving, even if the examiner is concerned, even if the examiner is well-meaning, the act of pulling it out is what kills it. The roots cannot tolerate the air. The fragile structure cannot tolerate the inspection. It needed darkness. It needed quiet. It needed time. And the moment it lost that, it lost everything. So you guard it. You hold it. You let it root. You speak it only to me, in the quiet of your prayer, in the journal entry no one will read, in the whispered gratitude before you fall asleep. You let the miracle become a thing that has its own root system underneath the soil of your daily life. And then, when it has grown strong enough that no one's doubt can uproot it, you let it surface in its own time, in its own way, in front of the right witnesses. That is the spiritual law of incubation. That is why I asked. That is the protection I am offering you tonight, not because secrecy is sacred for its own sake, but because what I am planting in you is too valuable to risk to a casual conversation with someone who would not understand. There will come a time to share it. You will know when that time arrives. The fruit will be visible. The shift will be undeniable. The pattern will be clear enough that the people in your life will not need you to explain it to them. They will see it. They will feel it. They will witness the change without you having to defend it. That is when you can speak. That is when the sharing becomes safe. Until then, hold it like a sleeping child against your chest. Let it dream. Let it grow. Now there is one more thing I must speak over you in this hour. Because I will not let you walk out of this moment without it being addressed directly. There is a lie that has been running underneath everything I have just spoken to you, and if I do not name it and break it, it will try to undo this entire revelation by morning. The enemy has had you believing a specific lie, my child. A lie so quiet, so woven into your inner monologue, that you have not been able to separate it from yourself. A lie so old that it feels like the foundation of your personality. A lie so familiar that the absence of it would feel disorienting, like trying to walk after years of using a cane that was never actually necessary. And I am going to expose it now and break its grip while you are still soft enough from this revelation to receive the deliverance. The lie is this: that breakthrough is for other people, that the kind of dramatic, life-altering, undeniable favor you have read about and watched in others is reserved for a different category of person, a more deserving person, a more spiritually mature person, a person who has not made the mistakes you have made, a person whose past is cleaner, a person whose faith has been less interrupted, a person who somehow earned what you have only ever begged for. I want you to look at that lie. I want you to see it for what it is. I want you to recognize how often you have rehearsed it, how often you have agreed with it, how often you have let it pre-decide your prayers before you even prayed them. It is the most strategic deception the enemy has ever run on you, because if he can keep you convinced that miracles happen to other people but not to you, he does not even have to block the miracle. You will block it yourself. You will see it arriving and assume it is for your friend. You will sense the favor and credit it to a coincidence. You will feel the shift and explain it away by morning. You will receive the answer and downplay it so thoroughly that you will be unable to fully metabolize it as the answer it actually was. That ends tonight. I am the same God for you that I have been for every person you have ever admired from a distance. The same God who opened the prison doors for Joseph. The same God who placed the stone in David's hand. The same God who answered Hannah's silent prayer. The same God who lifted Ruth out of widowhood into the line of kings. The same God who has lifted every single person whose breakthrough story has ever made you cry in your kitchen while you scrolled past it. The same God who turned a slave into a prime minister. The same God who turned a shepherd into a giant slayer. The same God who turned a barren wife into the mother of a prophet. The same God who turned a foreign widow into the great-grandmother of a king. The same God who turned a fisherman into a foundation stone of the church. The same God who turned a persecutor into the writer of half the new covenant. The same God who has been turning hidden ones into visible ones since the very beginning of human story. I am not a different God for them and a smaller God for you. I am the same. I am the same God in your bedroom as I am on the platforms of the famous. I am the same God in your bank account as I am in the bank accounts of the wealthy. I am the same God in your relationships as I am in the marriages you watch with longing. I am the same God in your career as I am in the testimonies you scroll past wondering when it will be your turn. There is no inferior version of me reserved for the people who have been waiting longer. The same fullness is available to you that has ever been available to anyone, and the breakthrough I gave them is not in some limited supply that ran out by the time it got to you. My favor is not a finite resource. My love does not get exhausted by the people who received it before you arrived. There is more than enough of me for every single one of you, and what I poured into them I am pouring into you in this exact hour, in this exact second, in this exact divine intersection of time. Receive it. Stop deflecting it, stop redirecting it, stop assuming it belongs to someone else. Receive it. Stop the small reflexive movement you have practiced for years, where the moment something good begins to arrive, you instinctively step aside to let someone else have it. Stop the automatic apology you offer up before claiming what was always yours. Stop the modest deflection that has cost you more than you can calculate. The modest deflection was a coping mechanism, not a virtue. The instinct to make yourself smaller in the presence of blessing was a wound, not a holiness. I'm claiming back, right now, every prayer the enemy has answered with mockery in your head. Every dream he convinced you to bury because it was too big. Every hope he taught you to flinch away from because hoping had hurt before. Every prophecy spoken over you that you secretly dismissed because you could not believe it could include you. Every quiet vision you had as a younger version of yourself that you talked yourself out of by the time you turned 25. I am reactivating every single one of them tonight. Whatever was spoken over you years ago that you forgot, I have not forgotten. Whatever was prayed over you by someone who loved you that you assumed did not stick, was actually planted deeper than you knew. Whatever sense of destiny you felt in your younger years before life taught you to be smaller was real. Every bit of it was real, and none of it expired. The expiration date the enemy convinced you was real was a forgery. I do not have expiration dates on the promises I make. I do not have age limits on the destinies I write. I do not have cutoff times after which the favor stops being available. The clock he showed you was a counterfeit. The deadline he whispered into your ear was a lie. The window he told you had closed was never closed by me. He pulled it shut in your imagination and then pointed at the closed window as if I had been the one to close it. I never closed the window, he did. And tonight, I am ripping it back open. So receive this, my beloved, with your whole chest, with your whole spirit, with the part of you that has been afraid to hope again because hope has felt like a setup. Hope is not a setup when it comes from me. Hope from me is a preview. Hope from me is a deposit. Hope from me is the first installment of a delivery that is already in motion. You are not waiting for the miracle. You are inside the miracle. You are not chasing the breakthrough. You are standing on the threshold of it. You are not begging for the door to open. The door has already opened. You are not asking for permission to enter the next chapter. The next chapter has already been written, and you are walking into it as I speak these words. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not unworthy. You are not too damaged. You are not the exception to my favor. You are the very target of it in this exact hour. The favor is aimed at you, specifically, by name, with your specific story, with your specific wounds, with your specific gifts, with your specific destiny. There has never been another you, and there will never be another you, and the breakthrough I have prepared has your particular shape stamped into its design. So lift your hands, my child, or place them over your heart if your body cannot move, or simply turn your face upward in your spirit if you cannot move at all, and let me anoint this moment with the seal of finality. The miracle has arrived. The miracle has landed. The miracle is sealed. And the chapter you walk into when this message ends will be the first chapter of the rest of your life that is no longer governed by the old contracts. The old contracts are broken. The old ceilings are removed. The old narratives are silenced. The old timelines are obsolete. The contract that said you would always have to overwork to be valued is broken. The ceiling that said your income would always be capped at the level of barely enough is removed. The narrative that said love would always come at the price of self-betrayal is silenced. The timeline that said you missed your chance is obsolete. The contract that said your family pattern would repeat in you is broken. The ceiling that said your spiritual gifts would never be fully expressed is removed. The narrative that said you were always going to be the supporting character in someone else's story is silenced. The timeline that said it was too late to become who you were always meant to be is obsolete. You are walking out of this hour a different person than the one who walked into it. And the people in your life will start to feel it before you have to explain a single thing. They will not always know why. They will not always have language for it. But the shift in you will land in their nervous systems before it lands in their conscious awareness. Some of them will be drawn closer. Some of them will pull away. Both reactions are confirmation. Both reactions are evidence that something has changed. Breathe, my beloved. Breathe in the new air. Breathe in the new chapter. Breathe in the version of yourself that has been waiting on the other side of this revelation. The you that has been waiting is meeting the you that has been arriving, right here, in this exact second, and the two versions are becoming one inside the same body. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent. And what I have placed inside you in this hour will begin to reveal itself in the days to come in ways you will not be able to deny, even to yourself. You will start to notice things differently. You will start to make decisions differently. You will start to recognize patterns you used to walk into. You will start to recognize my voice with a clarity you have not had before. You will start to feel a quiet, steady knowing in your gut that you used to have to pray for and now will simply have. Small things will shift first. A conversation will go differently than you expected. A decision will become obvious that used to be confusing. A relationship will clarify in a way it has resisted clarifying for years. A door you have been pushing against will swing open with embarrassing ease, or a door you have been clinging to will gently close in a way that releases you instead of breaking you. The first signs will be small, my child. Do not miss them by waiting for the big ones. The big ones come in their season, but the small ones come first, and the small ones are evidence. The small ones are the receipts. The small ones are the early returns of the investment heaven has just made in you. Now, I told you at the beginning of this message that I would speak 3 revelations over you in this hour. The real reason your prayers have felt delayed, the hidden battle that has been draining your spirit, and the miracle itself. I have given you all 3. The first answered the past. Your prayers were not delayed, they were ripening. The waiting was forging. Every year you thought was wasted was actually preparing the soil that this hour required. The second exposed the present. There were 5 fronts of war, fought in the dark, that you have been losing without knowing you were a soldier. Mind, sleep, relationships, money, sense of self. All 5 are being addressed tonight. All 5 are being reclaimed under my authority. All 5 are being restored to the design I originally placed in them. The third revealed the now. The miracle is the alignment of this exact moment, the convergence of every prayer, every step, every act of obedience, with this hour, this message, this seal, this witnessing, You are not waiting, you are inside. The miracle has happened. The miracle is happening. The miracle will keep unfolding in the days, weeks, and months ahead, layer by layer, room by room, until you fully understand the size of what was activated in this 1 hour you almost scrolled past. Stay with me a little longer, my child. We are not finished. There is one more chamber of this hour I must walk you through. The chamber of surrender, the chamber of blessing, the chamber where I send you back into your life with what you came here to receive. The chamber where I place the final seal on everything I have spoken tonight. The witnessing has happened. The activation has been completed. Now the sealing begins. Lean back, breathe again, and let me lead you gently into the most sacred chamber of this entire hour, my beloved child. We have arrived at the most sacred chamber of this hour. The revelation has happened. The miracle has been named. The lies have been silenced. The reframe has been anchored. And now, before I send you back into the ordinary rhythm of your days, I must lead you through one final passage, the passage of laying down. Because what I have just placed inside you cannot take full root if you are still gripping the old burdens with both hands. Your hands have to be empty to receive. Your shoulders have to be unloaded to carry what I am about to give you. The new chapter cannot be lived from the posture of the old one. The new wine cannot be poured into the old wineskins. The new song cannot rise from a body still bracing against an old battle. So we are going to lay it down now, together, slowly, tenderly. One layer at a time, one weight at a time, one old contract at a time. I am not going to rush you. I am not going to ask for more than you can give. I am simply going to walk beside you while you set down everything you do not need to carry into the chapter that begins the moment this message ends. I want you to close your eyes for a moment if it is safe to do so. If you are driving or moving, just soften your gaze. If you are still, let your eyelids fall. Let the screen blur. Let the world outside your skin lose its grip on your attention. It is just you and me again, in the small holy pocket of time we began this hour inside of. Take one slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for a second, and release it through your mouth like you are exhaling something old. Something that has been living in your lungs for too long. Something that needed to leave hours ago, but you did not know how to send it out. Again. Slowly, deeply. Let your chest expand. Let your belly soften. Let the air reach the corners of your lungs that have been shallow for too long. Let your shoulders drop another inch. Let your jaw unclench. Let the small muscles around your eyes release. Let your tongue settle softly at the bottom of your mouth instead of pressing against the roof of it. One more time. Even slower. Let this breath be the breath that begins to dismantle the bracing your body has lived in for years. You do not have to brace anymore, my child. The thing you were bracing against has been disarmed. You are safe in this moment. You are held in this moment. You are free in this moment. And your body is allowed to learn, slowly, what safety actually feels like in the muscles, in the breath, in the small territories of tension that have been on guard duty since you were younger than you can remember. Now I am going to ask you to lay down some things. One at a time, quietly, in the privacy of your own spirit. I will name each one. You will feel which ones land. You will know which ones are yours. Trust your inner recognition. Whatever ignites a small flicker of yes inside you, that is the one I am speaking directly to in your specific life. Lay down the version of yourself that you have been performing for everyone else. The one who has it together, the one who never falls apart, the one who is always available, the one who always smiles, the one who always says yes, the one who never burdens anyone, the one who minimizes her own needs, the one who softens his own truth, the one who makes the room feel comfortable at the cost of her own discomfort. That version was a costume, my child. A heavy, beautiful costume that you were never meant to wear forever. You put it on years ago because it was the only way to survive the room you were in. But the room has changed, and the costume is now too heavy for the new chapter. Take it off now. Let it fall to the floor of this moment. You do not need it where you are going. The people you are walking toward will love the real you. The ones who cannot love the real you are not part of the next chapter, no matter how long they have been part of the old one. Lay down the resentments you have been carrying. The names, the faces, the moments, the conversations that still replay in your head at night. I am not asking you to pretend they did not hurt. I am not asking you to forget they happened. I am not asking you to declare that those people were not wrong. because some of them were wrong. I am simply asking you to release the weight of carrying them inside the new chapter. The resentments cannot come with you. They will slow you down. They will dim the light I just lit inside you. They will color every new relationship through the lens of an old wound. They will turn fresh people into echoes of stale ones. They will keep you fighting a battle inside your head against people who do not even know they are still on trial in your inner courtroom. Lay them down, step out of the courtroom, close the case. Some of those people will be dealt with by me directly, in my time, in ways you do not need to witness or arrange. Your job is not to be the prosecutor of your own past. Your job is to walk free into the next chapter with your hands empty enough to hold what is being given. Lay down the shame. The shame for the years you think you wasted. The shame for the decisions you wish you could undo. The shame for the moments you were not your best self. The shame for the ways you failed people. The shame for the ways you failed yourself. The shame for the times you stayed too long. The shame for the times you left too soon. The shame for the words you wish you had not said. The shame for the silence you wish you had broken. The shame for the body you have. The shame for the family you came from. The shame for the patterns you have not yet broken. I have already covered all of it, my beloved. The blood has spoken over every line of it. You do not have to keep paying for what has already been paid. You do not have to keep rehearsing a debt that has already been canceled. The receipts have been issued. The accounts have been settled. The slate has been washed. The shame is not the agent of your growth. Conviction is. There is a difference. Conviction comes from me and it points forward. Shame comes from the enemy and it points downward. Conviction says, here is the next step. Shame says, you should never have taken the last one. Conviction whispers, my grace is enough for this. Shame whispers, you are not enough for anything. Lay the shame down. Pick up the conviction if I send it. Walk forward. Lay down the fear of disappointing people. The fear of being misunderstood. The fear of being seen as too much or not enough. The fear that the people who love the small version of you will not love the bigger version. Some of them will not, my child. That is true. I am not going to soften it. Some of the people who have been comfortable with the smaller you will be uncomfortable with the bigger you, because the bigger you will require them to grow in ways they have not yet agreed to grow. But that is also their assignment, not yours. The right people for your new chapter are already being moved into position. The relationships that were meant for this chapter are already softening, already shifting, already opening. You do not have to shrink to keep the wrong ones. You do not have to pre-apologize for your growth. You do not have to over-explain the changes happening inside you to people who do not need a detailed account of every internal renovation. Lay down the fear. Walk forward. The right ones will find you. The right ones will recognize the new you because they have been waiting for the new you longer than you have. Lay down the timeline you thought you were supposed to be on. The one you compared yourself against. The one that made you feel late. The one that whispered you should have been further along by now. The one you borrowed from people whose lives looked like they were assembled faster than yours. The one you measured yourself against in the quiet of your own kitchen, comparing your messy chapter to their highlighted reel. I burn that timeline tonight, my child. I dissolve it. I render it null. I declare it a counterfeit map drawn by people who did not know your true assignment. You are on my timeline now, and my timeline has never been late a single day in the entire history of creation, not once. Not for any of my chosen ones, not for the ones in Scripture, not for the ones in the centuries between, not for you. You did not fall behind. There was nothing to fall behind on. The race you thought you were losing was a race you were never running. The starting gun fired in someone else's stadium. You were always running a different course, on a different track, toward a finish line none of the spectators could see. And you are exactly where you need to be in that course right now, no matter how the optics from the outside look. Lay down the prayers you stopped praying because you got tired. I am picking them back up. Lay down the dreams you buried because hoping hurt too much. I am unburying them. Lay down the visions you let other people talk you out of. I am reviving them. Lay down everything you let die in the silence of your discouragement. None of it was actually dead. It was just sleeping in soil I was preparing in secret. There is a dream you had at 14 that you have not thought about in years. I am picking it up. There is a vision you wrote in a journal at 22 that you would be embarrassed to read now. I am picking it up. There is a quiet sense of calling you felt during a season that did not work out the way you expected, and you concluded the calling itself must have been wrong. The calling was not wrong. The expression of it was just on a longer timeline than you understood. I am picking it up. There is a thing you used to talk about with a friend late at night when you were both younger and braver, and you both said one day, and then life happened, and you stopped saying it, and you started laughing at yourselves for ever having said it. The one day is becoming this day. I am picking it up. I am dusting it off. I am placing it back into your hands in a form you can actually carry now, because the you who carries it now has a depth that the you who imagined it then did not yet have. Lay down the loneliness, my beloved. Lay down the ache of feeling unseen. Lay down the quiet conviction that no one really gets you, because I get you. I have always gotten you, and I'm about to send people across your path who will see you in ways that startle you at first. People you do not have to translate yourself for. People who will laugh at your jokes the first time. People who will catch your references without explanation. People who will rest in your presence and let you rest in theirs. Your tribe is being assembled. Your people are being released into your life. The season of feeling like a stranger in every room is ending. The season of being the only one in your circle who thinks the way you think, feels the way you feel, sees the way you see, is closing. Right now, in the unseen, I am moving specific souls into the trajectory of yours. Some of them will arrive within weeks, some within months. Some will come back from your past, transformed, ready to know the version of you that you did not have the capacity to be when you knew them before. You are not going to be lonely much longer, my child. The loneliness was a season, not a sentence, and the season is ending. Lay it down. All of it. Let it pool around your feet on the floor of this moment. Do not pick it up. Do not collect it. Do not feel responsible for carrying it back out with you. When you stand up from this hour, you stand up lighter than you have been in years. You stand up with empty hands. You stand up with unloaded shoulders. You stand up with a chest that has more room in it than it has had since you were a child. Now keep your eyes closed, my child, and let me speak my blessing over you. These are not generic blessings. These are not the kind of nice words a stranger might say. These are specific declarations released from heaven over your life, by name, for this exact hour. Every one of them is being recorded. Every one of them is being released. Every one of them will begin to take physical, visible, measurable form in the days and weeks ahead. Tonight I declare over you the lifting of a weight you have carried longer than you can remember. The weight is not yours anymore. I am picking it up. I am carrying it from this moment forward. Your only job is to walk free. You do not have to figure out how to walk free. You do not have to earn the lifting. You do not have to deserve the unloading. The weight is simply leaving by my authority, by my decree, by my choice, because tonight is the night I decided enough is enough for my beloved one. You will notice the lightness within days. You will notice the way certain situations that used to feel impossibly heavy will feel lighter, more workable, less consuming. You will notice the way your body responds, the way your shoulders settle, the way your jaw rests, the way your breath finds depth it has been missing. The lifting is real. The lifting is now. The lifting is permanent, unless you choose to pick the weight back up, which you do not have to choose. You can choose to leave it on the floor of this moment forever. Tonight I declare over you the return of the joy you thought you had lost. The joy that used to come easy, the joy that lived in small things, the joy that you began to feel guilty for whenever it tried to surface because you did not believe you deserved it anymore. You deserve it, my beloved. I am restoring it. It will surprise you in the coming days in places you stopped expecting it. You will find yourself laughing at something small. You will find yourself smiling at nothing at all. You will find yourself noticing beauty in places you had stopped looking. The first cup of coffee in the morning will taste like something again. The light through a window will catch your attention again. A song you used to love will make you tear up in the car for reasons you cannot explain. That is the joy returning. That is the joy I am releasing back into the rooms of your inner life that have been shuttered for too long. Tonight I declare over you a clarity that the fog of exhaustion has been blocking for years. Decisions you have been agonizing over will become simple. Doors you have been confused about will become obvious. People you have been unsure about will reveal themselves clearly. The fog is lifting. The path is becoming visible. You will know what to do, when to do it, and who to do it with. The constant second guessing that has been part of your inner architecture will quiet down. The mental loops that have been running on certain decisions will resolve. The fork in the road that has been paralyzing you for months will suddenly only have one path on it that makes sense. You will know things you have been wanting to know. You will see things you have been struggling to see. You will discern things you have been confused about. The discernment that has felt blocked will begin to flow again. Trust what surfaces in the days ahead. The clear knowing in your gut is being restored. Trust it, follow it, let it guide you out of paralysis and into motion. Tonight I declare over you a financial provision that will arrive in a form you did not predict and could not have engineered. The leaks I exposed earlier in this message are being sealed. The favor that was being intercepted is being released. What was delayed is being recovered. What was stolen is being returned, often with interest. Watch the next 90 days, my child. I am moving in your finances in ways you have prayed about for years. Money you forgot you were owed will come back. Refunds you did not expect will arrive. Bills will become smaller than you anticipated. Opportunities that pay better than your current level will appear. An income stream you had not considered will open up. A skill you have been undervaluing will become suddenly valuable to someone willing to pay for it. The pattern of barely enough is breaking. The pattern of unexpected leaks is sealing. The pattern of working harder for less is reversing. Watch, notice, receive. Do not deflect when the provision starts arriving. Receive it as the answer it is. Tonight I declare over you the restoration of relationships that have been wounded. Some of them with people who will reach back out to you in the coming weeks. Some of them with the version of yourself that you lost touch with somewhere along the way. The fractures are mending. The bridges are being rebuilt. The hearts that should be in your life are softening toward you in this exact hour, even if they do not know yet why. Some names will surface in your phone unexpectedly. Some texts you have been waiting for will arrive. Some apologies you stopped expecting will land. Some friendships that went cold will warm again, not because you forced anything, but because I have been working in the hearts of those people in ways they themselves do not understand. You will not have to chase. You will not have to grovel. You will not have to explain. The right reconnections will simply happen, and you will be available to receive them with the new softness this hour has put inside you. Tonight I declare over you a fresh anointing on the gifts I placed inside you before the foundations of the world. The gifts you have been afraid to use. The gifts you have been told are not practical. The gifts you have been hiding because the world taught you they were too much. I am breathing on them right now. I am awakening them. I am calling them forward into expression. The thing you have always quietly known you were meant to do, you will begin to do, in small, obedient steps. Starting this week, you will know what the next small step is. It will not require you to figure out the entire path. It will not require you to quit your job tomorrow. It will not require you to make some dramatic announcement to the world. It will require one small, obedient step. A conversation, a piece of work you finally start, a class you finally sign up for, a message you finally send, a practice you finally commit to, a boundary you finally hold, a truth you finally tell. Take that one small step. The next one will become clear after you take it. That is how I lead. One step at a time into a path that only becomes fully visible after you walk it. Tonight I declare over you protection. Protection over your body, over your mind, over your sleep, over your children, over your home, over the people you love, over the work of your hands, over the dreams you carry, over the very breath in your lungs. A canopy of holy covering is being placed over your entire life in this exact moment, and it will not be lifted. Every door of your home is being marked. Every window is being sealed. Every threshold is being guarded. Every member of your household is being placed under the same canopy that is over you. Your sleep will be guarded. Your dreams will be cleansed. Your nights will be restored to their original purpose, which was never to be a battlefield. They were always meant to be a sanctuary, and I am returning them to their sanctuary state. The interference that has been disturbing your rest is being lifted. The atmosphere of your bedroom is being changed. The unseen activity around your home is being silenced. Tonight I declare over you the breaking of every generational pattern that has tried to repeat itself in your story. The cycles end with you, my beloved. The wounds that were passed down stop here. The losses that ran through your family line do not have permission to continue through yours. You are a cycle breaker. You are a line redrawer. You are a generational pivot. And what your ancestors prayed for without seeing, you will live to see fulfilled. The pattern of poverty that ran through your bloodline is broken. The pattern of broken marriages is broken. The pattern of addiction is broken. The pattern of estrangement is broken. The pattern of unfulfilled potential is broken. The pattern of dying young is broken. The pattern of working oneself into the ground is broken. Whatever the specific generational pattern was that you have feared repeating in your own story, name it in your spirit right now, and I declare it broken. The bloodline reroutes through you. The new pattern starts here. You will be the one your future generations point to as the turning point. The one in the family who broke the cycle. The one in the lineage who said, "The pattern stops with me." And future grandchildren you may never meet on this side of eternity will trace the change in their lives back to a decision you made, a stand you took, a transformation you allowed in a year that will eventually become a story they tell at family gatherings long after you are gone. Tonight I declare over you a peace that does not depend on your circumstances. A peace that holds even when the storms come. A peace that sits in your chest like a quiet flame that the wind cannot blow out. This is not the absence of difficulty. This is my presence in the middle of it. You will know this peace as your steady companion in the chapter you are walking into. Difficulties will still come, my child. I am not removing the possibility of hard days, but the way you walk through hard days will be different. You will not be alone in them. You will not be flattened by them. You will have an interior stillness that does not match the exterior turbulence, and people will start asking you, "How are you so steady right now?" You will not always have language for the answer. You will simply have the peace, and the peace will speak for itself in your face, in your voice, in the way you handle pressure that used to undo you. Tonight I declare over you, my beloved child, that you are no longer the one who survives alone. You are no longer the silent warrior fighting battles no one sees. You are no longer the tired soul holding the world together while quietly falling apart. That assignment is finished. That season is closed. That identity is retired. The version of you that lived inside that assignment has been honored. The work she did is complete. The work he did is complete. And now, there is a new version of you coming forward to take the next assignment, and the new version will not have to carry alone what the old version carried alone. You are now and forever my chosen witness. The light bearer, the cycle breaker, the carrier of the hidden miracle, the heir to a kingdom that cannot be shaken, the vessel through which I am about to pour something into the world that the world did not even know it needed. You are the one I am sending into the next chapter with the seal of this hour fresh on your spirit. You are the one I am trusting with a story that will, in time, become a testimony that helps others come home. You are the one who stayed long enough to be witnessed, and now becomes the one who carries the witnessing into the lives of others. Open your eyes, my child. The hour we have shared together is closing, but the chapter it has opened is just beginning, and the person who walked into this message is not the person who is walking out of it. Something has shifted in you that cannot be unshifted. Something has been sealed in you that cannot be unsealed. Something has been activated in you that no enemy, no setback, no doubt, no delay will be able to deactivate. You stayed with me to the end, my beloved. Do you understand what that means? Do you understand the spiritual weight of what you just did? You did not scroll. You did not drift. You did not let distraction win. You stayed. You witnessed. You received. And in the realm where these things are measured, that is not a small thing. That is the very kind of obedience that miracles are rooted into. The miracle was never just in the message. The miracle was in the staying. You activated it by remaining. You sealed it by listening. You received it by being here when most would have left. The hour itself was the miracle, and you were inside the entire delivery from the first sentence to the last. So, when you wake up tomorrow, and the world looks exactly the same on the surface, do not let the surface deceive you. The shift has happened underneath. The activation has happened in a realm your eyes cannot see. The fruit will surface in its own time. Be patient with the unfolding. Watch for the small signs. Receive each one. Do not need the entire chapter to manifest by Friday in order to trust that the chapter has begun. Now I have a few quiet requests before we close this sacred hour. If something in this message has reached the deeper rooms of your heart, share it with 3 souls. Not to broadcast it, not to perform it. Just send it quietly to 3 people you sense need to hear my voice the way you needed to hear it. There is someone in your phone right now who has been on the edge of giving up. There is someone in your contact list who has been silently crying out for a message that says exactly what this one said. You are the messenger. You are the carrier. You are the witness who passes the witnessing forward. Send it to 3, quietly, without fanfare. Just send it. You may not know which three. Trust the small inner nudge that surfaces a face or a name. That nudge is me. Send it to whoever surfaces. Do not overthink it. Do not edit the list. Do not worry whether they will receive it well. Your job is only to send. Their job is to receive, in their own time, in their own way. You are simply being obedient to the small holy assignment of being the messenger for someone else's miracle hour. And subscribe to this channel, my beloved. Not for the algorithm, not for the number, but because I have more to release through this place in the coming weeks and months, and I do not want you to miss it. Turn on the notification bell so that when I speak again, you will hear it the same way you heard me today. There is a rhythm of messages coming for the rest of this season. Each one will build on what we walk through tonight. You will want to be present for all of them. The next message I release through this place will continue the work this one began. The one after that will go deeper still. There is a sequence being released over the coming weeks that is designed for the specific season you are walking into. Do not miss the sequence. Anchor yourself here so the next deliveries find you on time. Your spirit knows this is one of the addresses where my voice has been arriving lately. Mark it. Stay close to it. Let me keep speaking to you through this channel as part of how I shepherd you in this new chapter. If you have not already, leave one final word in the comments. Just one. A small marker of your presence in this hour. Write the word sealed, just that single word, as a quiet anchor between us, as your seal on everything I have spoken over you tonight, so that when the enemy tries to rewrite this hour in your memory in the days ahead, you can come back to this comment and remember that it was real, that you were here, that you witnessed it, that you received. The enemy will try, my child. He will try to make you doubt tomorrow what you received tonight. He will whisper that it was just emotion, that it was just a video, that nothing actually happened. That is his playbook. That is what he does after every breakthrough hour. So you leave the marker now while the seal is still warm, so that when the doubt arrives, you have an anchor to return to. The comment is your anchor. Drop it, let it hold. Now, my child, lean back one more time. Let the chair hold you, let the bed hold you, let the floor hold you. Whatever is underneath your body in this moment, let it carry the weight you have already laid down. You do not need to pick anything up on your way out of this hour. You walk out empty-handed and full-hearted. That is exactly the posture I want you in. Empty hands, full heart, soft shoulders, open chest, quiet mind, steady breath. That is the posture of the chosen witness walking into the next chapter. Place your hand over your heart one final time. Feel the beat. That heartbeat is the witness of every moment I have ever walked with you. That heartbeat is the proof of my faithfulness. That heartbeat will carry you into a chapter your former self could not have imagined. The same heartbeat that carried you through every hard night will carry you into every soft morning that is coming. I am with you, my beloved. I have always been with you. I will always be with you. Across every door that opens in the days ahead. Across every room you walk into for the first time. Across every conversation that surprises you. Across every breakthrough that lands. Across every quiet moment when you realize, with a small, startled smile, that something has actually shifted. I will be there. In every one of those moments, standing just behind your shoulder, walking just ahead of your steps, sitting beside you when you finally rest, whispering in your ear when you need direction, catching the tear before it falls when joy catches you off guard, steadying your hand when the next decision presents itself, lifting your chin when you forget the new chapter has already begun. We do not say goodbye, my child. We never have. We only pause until the next time my voice finds you again. And it will find you again, sooner than you think, in ways you will not always expect, through this channel, through a song, through a stranger, through a sentence in a book, through the wind on a difficult afternoon, through your own quiet inner knowing when the moment requires guidance. I am everywhere you go now. The witnessing made it so. The seal of this hour has placed an awareness in your spirit that will keep registering my presence in the smallest details of your ordinary days. You will start to notice me more. You will start to sense me more. You will start to recognize me in moments you used to walk right past. That is not your imagination. That is the heightened spiritual sensitivity that this hour has anointed you with. So walk forward, my beloved chosen child. Walk into your week with the seal still warm on your spirit. Walk into your conversations with the new clarity I have given you. Walk into your decisions with the new confidence I have anointed. Walk into your nights with the new peace that has finally found you. Walk into your mornings with the new joy that is being restored. Walk into your relationships with the new softness that comes from being truly witnessed. Walk into your work with the new anointing on your gifts. Walk into your home with the new canopy of protection over your household. Walk into your bloodline with the new mandate to be the cycle breaker. Walk into your future with the new timeline that I have written, not the counterfeit one you were borrowing. Walk into your destiny with the new, knowing that you are exactly on time. The miracle has landed. The chapter has begun. The witness has been activated. The seal has been placed. You are loved beyond measure. You are seen beyond comprehension. You are held beyond your awareness. You are chosen beyond your understanding. You are sealed beyond the reach of every voice that ever told you otherwise. Go in peace, my beloved. Go in power. Go in the quiet certainty that everything I have spoken in this hour is already moving in the unseen on your behalf and will surface in the seen in its own perfect time. The waiting season is over. The witnessing season has begun. I walk with you always. Amen.